Thursday night at Camden Yards, it is the start of a 4-game set between the visiting Boston Red Sox and the Baltimore Orioles. Kevin Brown, Ben McDonald with you from the park. Thanks for spending part of your weekend with us. The Orioles were really the toast of the town in Major League Baseball after a phenomenal start, 12-8. One of the surprises, if not the surprise, of the Bigs. But a close loss to the Nationals Sunday led into a 3-game sweep at the hands of the Blue Jays the last few days. What changed?
Well, you know, the offense wasn't quite as good. Brandon Hyde talked about the situational hitting wasn't quite as good. And also you look at the ERA, the starters weren't quite as good, the bullpen not quite as good. So it's a little bit of everything. And don't forget, there were a couple of big defensive plays that weren't made by the Orioles during that time that really helped, you know, that 3-game sweep, and of course 4 games in a row. But time for the Birds to get back in the win column. That
starter ERA is not great. The Orioles are hoping it'll improve today with Asher Wojciechowski, who's had some great success against the Red Sox, including a no-hit bid last year. What are you looking to see from Wojciechowski tonight?
Well, he worked the season high. You know, he went into the 6th inning his last time out. Tommy Malone mentioned after his last start that it's time for us, the starters. He meant the starters to start working a little bit deeper into ball games. Wojo did that his last time out. You're right. He's had a ton of success against the Red Sox. He went 2-1 last year. I think an ERA right at 1, and a career best outing against them where he went 7 1/3, just gave up the 1 hit you're talking about and punched out a career high 10. So he should have a lot of success going in, or a lot of confidence going in this game as well.
Birds are back at 500. Wojciechowski against Nathan Eovaldi. The O's will look to jump back to a winning record. First pitch from Mr. Wojciechowski is coming up. Orioles baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Big heart and low fares. Book now at southwest.com. Orioles are hoping the slumping Boston Red Sox will be the cure for their 4-game losing streak. Verdugo, Devers, Martinez, the top 3. And as you look down the lineup, it's Jackie Bradley Jr., who was 7 for 11 against the Orioles in the opening series this season, which the Red Sox took the first game of before the O's won the next 2. These Red Sox 9, Ben McDonald, will face the right-hander Asher Wojciechowski.
Yeah, Wojciechowski 1-2 in a year with a 4.34. You see the 4 starts, 18 2/3, 16 hits. He's punched out 17, which is good. Walked 6. Got to keep the ball in the ballpark. He's allowed 5 home runs so far on the year. Opponents hitting .239 off the big right-hander Asher Wojciechowski.
And his walkout music is Fleetwood Mac's The Chain. So he's off to a great start already before he's even thrown a pitch. Alex Verdugo will lead it off for the Sox, who come in winners of 1 in a row after having lost their previous 9. Boston at 7-18 has the 2nd worst record in the major leagues. Only the Pittsburgh Pirates at 4-16 are worse. Here we go on a Thursday night. Wojciechowski to Verdugo with a first pitch fastball strike. 81 degrees, 7:35 as we're underway on a fantastic late summer evening. Verdugo with a swing and a miss, 2 high fastballs to start against Verdugo, who has been maybe the Red Sox most consistent hitter. Comes in on a 10-game hit streak.
Well, that's what you're going to see from Wojo. Elevated fastballs. He's an analytical guy, right? High spin rate fastball, wants to work it up. Here's StatCast powered by Google Cloud. You see what Asher Wojciechowski's pitch arsenal is. That 4-seam fastball, about 40% of the time, a curveball, a slider, and an occasional changeup. You're going to see 2 different shapes of a breaking ball. One a little bit harder than the other.
That curveball, which he is referred to at times as a slider, then the harder one, which is that cutter slider hybrid. Overshift on for Verdugo, and he goes down swinging. Nothing but high heat from Wojciechowski to pick up the first out.
Well, you get ahead and you expand the zone, and we talk about him working up in the zone. When you can get ahead, you can expand it, and that's exactly what he does. Pedro Severino wants it up in the zone. That's where it's delivered, and a good start for the Orioles and Asher Wojciechowski.
18th strikeout, 19 innings this year. 18 strikeouts to just 6 walks. The home run ball once again has been the bugaboo for Wojciechowski. Strikeout to walk numbers are strong. Rafael Devers with a big cut and a miss, and it's nothing but high fastballs so far. You see the numbers on Devers. 23 years old and one of the great young players in this game last season. He got off to a terrible start this year, but he has back-to-back 3-hit games coming into Camden Yards.
Wojciechowski wanting to establish that fastball. He has done it so far. Nothing but fastballs. Middle of the plate and up. See what Wojo is versus Devers. 1 for 9, 3 Ks.
It's a Red Sox lineup that is still dangerous. They're only 21st in the league in runs scored, but with Devers and J.D. Martinez and Xander Bogaerts, you figure it's only a matter of time before this portion of their team gets going. 2-strike pitch popped up. Rio Ruiz with a long run, and he will not get there. It's out of play. Well, the Orioles have been one of the great offensive teams in the league, to the surprise of many. Not as much of a surprise to Brandon Hyde and his staff, and this could be, Ben, and if statistics are any indication, this will be a nice juicy series for this Orioles offense.
Well, it should be. I mean, the Red Sox have given up a ton of runs, but it's not just about the runs they've given up. You look down at what the Red Sox have done defensively. They're dead last. The offense is not that great. The pitching is next to terrible, so it's a lot of different reasons.
Here's a breaking ball scooped into right by Devers, and Rafael Devers continues his surge. A 1-out single for the game's first base runner.
Well, here is the Oriole defense behind Asser Wojciechowski. Out in left field, Pat Valleca. Cedric Mullins gets another start in center field. Anthony Santander over in right. Your double play combination, Velasquez and Hanser Alberto. On the corner over at third, Rio Ruiz. Renato Nunez gets another start at first, and Pedro Severino putting down all the right fingers.
Rare left field start for Valleca. You mentioned only the 5th of his career as the Orioles continue to shuffle in the outfield without Austin Hayes. J.D. Martinez with one away, and Martinez goes fastball hunting on the first pitch. He comes up empty.
This is one of the guys you don't expect to struggle offensively because everything mechanically is really good. You go back and look at the numbers over the years, they're pretty amazing, but this year not off to a great start. Although in the opening series of the year he had 5 base hits, 3 doubles against the Orioles, but since then J.D. Martinez has not been himself.
Seemingly living on first base in that opening series. He was hitting second in the lineup at that time, and Ron Renneke has done some moving and shaking. Martinez, Devers, and Bogaerts have all struggled considerably for Ron Renneke's Red Sox as you look at Brandon Hyde in his second year across the way. Wojciechowski's been 0-2 on every hitter so far. And he throws ball 1 to Martinez.
Wojciechowski not different than a lot of starting pitchers. He has to navigate through the first inning. Nearly half the runs he's given up this year have come in the first inning. And sometimes the stuff you have in the bullpen just does not translate to the game mound. When the batter steps in the box, you get a different adrenaline flow. And Wojciechowski, even last year, you go back to last year, he had his struggles in the first inning, but once he gets through the first, he's pretty good.
2-strike pitch is down and away. Good pick by Severino. 2-2 for Martinez. Both these clubs have struggled at times allowing runs in the first inning. For the Red Sox, it's been a major issue, but the Orioles, we talked about the starting pitching a little in the open, and the quality start is a little bit of a flawed statistic, but it's still telling in that the Orioles have 2 quality starts in 24 outings. Too many high pitch count innings in the first and second this year. This is Wojo's 14th of the inning, and it is fouled away on a check swing from Martinez.
Yeah, quality starts are still, to me, a very big number when you look at it. For a couple of this year, you got 28 players, so you can carry a couple of extra pitchers.
Right.
You got a shortened season. You only got 60 games, so you won't kill a bullpen this year. But in a typical 162, if you don't have your starters getting some depth, eventually that bullpen gets wore out when it matters most late in the season.
Another 2-2 for J.D. Martinez. He goes down swinging. Wojciechowski high fastball theater here in the first. He's punched out Verdugo and Martinez above the zone.
Well, he's really worked that four-seam fastball so far here in the first inning. Don't forget now, he punched out 10 last year, which was a career high against the Red Sox right here in this ballpark. And he did it with a good fastball, elevated up in the zone. You're not going to see 94, 95 from Wojciechowski, but you're going to see 91 to 93 with a high spin rate, just meaning it stays on plane a little bit longer, and he'll get a lot of swings under the baseball.
Good strike to ball ratio right now. 12 strikes, just 3 balls. There's Xander Bogaerts, Red Sox shortstop. And started with a breaking ball for strike 1. That's Will Little behind the plate, calling balls and strikes. Nick Lentz at first, Angel Hernandez, a crew chief, at second, Dan Bellino at third. This umpiring crew has taken up residency at Oriole Park this week. Bogaerts only 6 out of his last 36. A little bit of a funk in the last 10. And he drives one the other way. That's a gap ball. Santander will cut it off. And Devers gets to third on a Bogaerts single.
Yeah, a pretty good piece of hitting by Bogaerts. This was not a mistake. Trying to get ahead right away. You throw your fastball. You throw it down and away. Watch the location of this pitch. Pedro Severino sets up on the outside corner. That's where he wants it. Almost exactly where it's delivered. Just kind of outer third, about knee high, but reaching out, staying inside the baseball and driving it out toward right center field. So Red Sox first and third with 2 out here in the first.
First fastball put in play by a Red Sox hitter in the game. And now here's Mitch Moreland. And Verdugo's been their most consistent hitter day in and day out. Moreland has been their best in a little more limited time. 16 games, he has 6 home runs, 434 on base, and a mighty slugging percentage. And Moreland takes a little bit of a soft one inside. He does not play every day, Mitch Moreland. He's 34 years old. The Red Sox manage his at-bats. They try to get him in against right-handed pitchers mainly. And he has mashed right-handed pitchers this year. Big lead at third for Devers, trying to draw Wojciechowski's attention away as Asher pours in strike 1. Carlos Feblis, the third base coach, in Devers' ear. Ruiz well off the bag at 30, got about a third of the way to the plate on that last pitch. 1-1. It's outside. So the pitch count is high again. 20 pitches in the first inning for Wojciechowski. And again, the Orioles starters, to get deeper into games, you'd like a little bit more efficiency than this off the top.
So much of the game now, though, has come down to swing and miss stuff. And when you're constantly trying to work swing and miss stuff, you're going to see the pitch counts go out. Wojo's going to strike out a batter, right? I mean, that's what he does throughout his career. He's averaged 1 strikeout per inning pitch. So when you strike some guys out, pitch count goes up.
And it's inside to Moreland, 3 balls and a strike.
And of course, when you work deep in counts, pitch counts goes up. So you get 2 strikeouts, 2 base hits, and a 3-1 count here on the 5th batter.
First 4 pitches tell you anything about where Wojo might go? 3-1 here?
Well, I know one thing. When you got a hot hitter to play, you don't want to give in this situation and throw a cookie, right? So I would almost rather make my pitch. If I miss, I miss, and I'll attack the next batter.
On 3-1. Well, Moreland fouled it back. He got that cutter slider type hybrid a little bit up.
Yeah, he's not giving in. 3-1. He wasn't about to throw a fastball in that situation, so he threw a little cut fastball, and even to count back at 3-2 now.
Christian Vasquez awaits for the Red Sox. Won 6-3 over Philadelphia yesterday to snap that 9-game losing streak. You look up, you see Verdugo and Devers and Martinez and Bogaerts and Moreland, and You don't think this is a team that would have lost 9 straight. They can ambush you from the get-go. Bogarts runs from first, and Moreland drives one into right field. Santander at the wall, and he has got it. Perfectly timed by Anthony Santander, who saved at least 1 run in right field. Because his hitting hasn't been enough for the Orioles these days. My goodness. Fantastic run-saving play, then a multi-run saving play in right field. He'll bat second in this bottom of the first inning for the Orioles. Starting lineup brought to you by Southwest. Big heart and low fares. Book now at southwest.com. Boys, the top 2 have been good. Alberto leads the American League in doubles, tied for first in hits. 12 multi-hit games, leads the league. Santander, the longest hit streak in the majors at 14 in a row. Nunez and Severino behind them have been a particularly strong top 4 for the O's as they face Nathan Eovaldi, the man they saw on opening night in Boston.
Yeah, and what they saw on opening night was domination. He worked 6 innings, only 5 hits, 1 run. He punched out 4 against the Orioles on opening day, but since then he has not been the same. The month of August was a good one. The month of July was a good one. The month of August not so good. Eovaldi 0-2 in 3 starts with an 8 ERA in the month of August.
Not what you want if you're a Red Sox fan.
No, and he's one of these perplexing guys, right? Because when you look at his stuff, there it is, 97, 5th hardest fastball in Major League Baseball on average. He'll average a little over 97 miles an hour, but yet he has his struggles at times. And the numbers are confusing. Only 5 walks. Normally when you see a guy like that with a high ERA, well, he walks a lot of guys. He doesn't. He's got 5 walks on the year. But he gives up base hits and he gives up home runs. He's given up 6 home runs in his 5 starts.
Ball on a strike for Hanser Alberto. 2-hit game yesterday. And Alberto fouls back strike 2, fastball at 96. It is hard and harder generally from Eovaldi. He does have a good curveball, and that's the one pitch that's really been effective for him this year. The fastball, the cutter, the splitter have all been hit well. We'll see where he attacks Alberto with 2 strikes. Orioles second baseman with a ground ball right back to Eovaldi. Look out. 1 away.
Here comes Anthony Santander. This is your stats with Lowe's. 14-game hitting streak, as you mentioned. See what he's hitting during that 14-game hitting. 362, 7 homers, 18 RBIs. How about the extra base hits and the OPS? Just outstanding. And he plays a little defense too, by the way.
He's getting better out there in right. Breaking ball starts him for strike 1. When you talk to Don Long, Orioles hitting coach, about Santander, he'll tell you that he has a plan, and the work he does studying pitchers, watching film, about as good as anybody on this team. And there is the plan paying off for the first at bat. You just can't get him out in the first inning right now. Santander, he's going into right field toward Utah Street. He's shooting the ball the other way. He is doing it all.
Well, he's hitting it where it's pitched. And look at his ball. It's a 2-seam fastball. It's running down and away from him. And all year long, he has stayed on these balls away from him. He's not trying to go around and hook them like a lot of guys do. He just kind of hits it where it's pitched, and nobody's at straight up shortstop. And off the bat at 112. And Santander with a base hit again in the first inning.
He has reached base now, Ben, in all 7 games on this homestand in the first inning. Renato Nunez try to move him over as Nunez takes strike 1. Nunez 2 for 13, 4 strikeouts in the Toronto series. Snapped a 7-game hit streak yesterday. The home run power is still strong, slugging .523. Very good.
And he's had some good luck against Eovaldi too. He's hit him well. There it is, 6 for 9, 2 homers, 7 RBIs. I'd say that's pretty good.
Faced Eovaldi twice last season, August 18th, September 27th. Hit a 3-run homer off Eovaldi in both games. Opening day this year didn't go deep against Eovaldi, but he did drive in a run with a double. And a breaking ball gets him here for strike 2. That is a breaking ball. It's 93, but it's got some movement, and that's the Eovaldi cutter. You see the four-seamer about 97, 98, and then the cutter 91 to 93.
He'll cut it. Now he'll throw a different breaking ball besides that one too. A slower one, a little more break to it, a little more depth to it. He'll show you the split finger fastball as well. You know, and every day's different for a starting pitcher. One day the cutter may be better. One day the bigger breaker ball is better. That's something you got to figure out along the way.
How long does it usually take you to figure that out?
Well, you pretty much know after the first inning kind of what you have. But just because, let's say, my breaking ball's not there in the first inning, it's a pitch that I'm going to keep working on. Maybe in a low leverage situation, 0-2 counts, maybe I'll start to get the feel for it and I'll bounce one. And all of a sudden, maybe the third or fourth inning, maybe all your pitches begin to come. So you don't just put them in your back pocket when you can't get a feel for them right away.
Nunez on 2-2. He goes the other way. And the Orioles have back-to-back opposite field base hits here in the first inning.
Well, here's the defense for the Red Sox behind Nathan Eovaldi. Out in the pasture going left to right, Alex Verdugo. Jackie Bradley Jr. is in center. Kevin Pillar will be over in right field. Your double play combination, Bogarts and Jose Peraza at second base. Rafael Devers over at third. The hot-hitting Mitch Moreland at first, and Christian Vasquez behind the plate for the Red Sox.
And Vasquez's counterpart Pedro Severino is the Orioles cleanup man. 7th best slugging percentage in the American League. In addition to those numbers you see there, that slugging mark is .618. 5 home runs, 20 games. 2 on, 1 out in the first for the O's, trying to snap a 4-game losing streak as Severino looks at a cutter, strike 1. At-bats per RBI is the number on your screen there. What that tells you is he drives in runs with more frequency than anybody else in the league. Plum opportunity for that here. And Severino fouls away, strike 2.
Yeah, he's been good. And he's been good, especially late in ball games. Some giant hits from Pedro Severino late. He has a #1 batting average in all of baseball for catchers. Brandon Hyde loves him. I mean, you hear Brandon Hyde talk about Pedro Severino. He said he is just beginning to tap into what we think he can be.
It's the approach with 2 strikes and late in the count that has been one of the improvements for Severino this year. They don't think he's chasing quite as much. He's laying off breaking balls, pitches in the dirt a little bit more later in counts. And if you saw Severino earlier in his career, he was a fairly heralded minor league catcher with the Nationals, but never this level of hitter. So the quantum leap he has made this year has really been at the plate.
Yeah, and it's been because of experience, right? I mean, you go down the line, Santander, Renato Nunez, Alberto, Severino, all got consistent big league at bats last year for really the first time in their career. Well, they've grown, and the more experience these type of hitters get, the more aware you could say the same thing for Santander. He's not chasing as many bad pitches as he did last year either.
Breaking ball pulled foul.
And I think it's just an experience thing. You get those at bats under your belt. You start to recognize situations. You start to recognize, certain patterns that pitchers throw at you. And I think that all these guys are growing as they go. I mean, you got to remember, it is still the 3rd youngest position player group in all of baseball. It's not a ton of at-bats in this lineup. Matter of fact, this lineup you're going to see tonight, everybody is 27 years old and younger.
All between 25 and 27. Very similarly aged team. Severino's fought off a couple with 2 strikes now.
Well, here's the pitch arsenal for the hard-throwing Nathan Eovaldi. See that 4-seam fastball average 97. He likes to work it to the top of the zone. We've seen the cutter already, and that's velocity. It's been 91. No splitters yet, and just 1 bigger breaking ball, the curveball.
3rd year with the Red Sox, 2018 trade. He came over. He was a big part of that World Series championship team. Did not pitch well last year. On 2 strikes, another ground ball pulled foul from Severino.
And this is the big thing from Severino, Alberto, Santander, the ability to extend at bats. Last year we didn't see that so much. This year they're fouling off some really tough pitches. They're extending some at bats, and then the pitchers are beginning to make some mistakes, and they're paying for it.
Time called at the plate. Orioles trying to get a home win tonight. They're 4-11 in this park, 8-1 on the road. Red Sox are just 3-8 on the road. Another 0-2, and this time Severino is vexed. Took something off at 89 Eovaldi, and he picks up the strikeout.
Might have been the first split finger fastball of the night. See that action kind of down and into the right-hander? Yep, that's exactly what it was. So the very first one, he threw everything he had at Pedro Severino. 2 different breaking balls, fastballs, and finally went with the first split finger of the night, and it was a good one for a big strikeout.
Well, this was the story the last couple of games, particularly yesterday for the Orioles. Stranding runners in scoring position. They left 22 men on base in the last series. And now with 2 on, 2 out, the inning is in the hands of Rio Ruiz. Just 3 for 20 on the homestand. Does have 3 walks. And Ruiz takes in the dirt. Saved by the glove of Vasquez.
Yeah, the Orioles, so many opportunities in that Toronto series to make a difference offensively. The batting average was still pretty solid. Runs per game was down a little bit, but right, the big hit just eluded the Orioles pretty much for 3 games. They just could not come up with the big hit when they needed it most.
Brandon Hyde did not like pretty much anything he saw in the last series. Mental mistakes, poor defense, but he said our approaches with runners in scoring position were just not what they needed to be. Chance here for Ruiz, who is ahead in the count 2-0.
Yeah, and he's talking about the situational hitting stuff too. You know, you get a guy, and the Orioles had that several times in the series where leadoff guy hits a double. There's got to be an effort to hit behind the runner, to hit a ground ball to the right side, to move that runner to third base. And the Orioles didn't do a very good job. Didn't do a great job. Runner at third base, less than 2 outs. So some situational hitting wasn't. And look, you're right. The defense struggled, and there was a couple of mental errors on the base pass that hurt big time as well.
2-0. And Eovaldi goes to the breaking ball on 2-0. Little respect for Rio Ruiz there.
He knows Ruiz is a good fastball hitter, and don't be surprised if Ruiz is not swinging 3-0 right here, because if he gets a cookie fastball, he may have a good swing at it. Only when a hitter's struggling a little bit, you'll turn him loose sometimes 3-0.
Instead, it's ball 4. And the Orioles load the bases for Pat Valaika. Well, it wasn't a 7-run game in the 8th inning, so you can't swing 3-0. That's the new unwritten rule of baseball as of 72 hours ago, I think.
I'll be honest, somebody asked me that. I've never heard of that. You know,
No.
I mean, that was new to me, the unwritten rule, you don't swing. Now, look, if you're up 10 or 11 in the 9th inning, I get it. But the way runs are being scored today, the way, you know, homers are being hit and runs, but
Yeah.
I say you score as many runs as you can.
Yeah, anybody who's ever seen a game in Texas knows that the
Yeah.
Rangers are going to hit some balls. Valaika with a ground ball to second. Jose Peraza will end the inning. Red Sox leave 2, Orioles strand 3. We are scoreless after 1. $100 just for being selected, and will win $500 more for every Orioles home run hit tonight. Play any fast play for Maryland Lottery and enter your tickets for a chance to be the contestant of the game. Visit mdlottery.com/home run. Another lovely night here in Baltimore. No score after 1. Red Sox and Orioles. Kevin Brown, Ben McDonald with you. Eventually we'll hear from Brett Hollander, who is off roaming the concourse somewhere. Start of a 4-game series, the Orioles and the Red Sox. Those took 2 of 3 in Boston to start the year. Christian Vasquez takes outside from Asher Wojciechowski to start the second. Vasquez really hit the Orioles well in that opening series. Started the year 4 home runs in his first 5. He has struggled in a major way since. And swings and misses at Wojciechowski's cutter or slider or hard breaking ball, depending on what you want to call it.
Harder of his 2 breaking balls. There you go.
Vasquez in the air, left center. Mullins and Valaika long run. Cedric Mullins can't make the play. And Vasquez plops in a leadoff base hit.
Well, I'd like to see Pat Valaika, and I think he kind of knows this is his ball because, you know, the center fielder has priority. But Cedric Mullins, you see where he is? He's deep and shaded toward right center field. It is a super long run for him. I think Pat Valaika could have caught this ball if he'd have kept coming. But you see Cedric Mullins is calling it all the way. When the center fielder calls it, everybody else backs off. Wojo can't believe it. A ball that probably should have been caught and wasn't.
And right on cue, after you mentioned the defensive miscues from the last series, another ball drops in. Kevin Pillar takes ball 1.
Well, you mentioned it. Pat Valaika doesn't play a whole lot of the outfield. Cedric Mullins is still a young guy, but Brendan Hyde said he loves the way he's taking control, and maybe the situation where he didn't need to take control of that when Pat Valaika, I felt like, could have made that play.
Only his 5th career major league start in left field, Valaika. Statcast says that ball from Vasquez had an expected batting average of .060. In layperson's terms, that means a ball hit that hard and that high is a hit about 6% of the time. So that tells you how lucky Vasquez was and how unfortunate the Orioles were that that plopped in. Kevin Pillar, the former Blue Jay, has historically liked hitting against this team. 4 for 8 in the opening series of the year, double and a home run against the O's. And there's strike 2.
It's not Ben. I don't think those names are right.
1-2.
I don't think the names are right.
It's inside. Wojciechowski had a bit of a toiling first. 23 pitches. Stranded a pair thanks to the great catch from Santander. But again, this pitch count, his season high is 92. And he's about a third of the way there. Nobody out in the second. On 2-2, Pillar takes just off the plate. Count runs full.
Wojo trying to stay down. He's trying to create that ground ball, maybe get a double play. Pillar is a good fastball hitter. 21 homers, 88 RBIs last year with San Francisco and Toronto.
And he got a fastball, but low, ball 4. So the Red Sox had the first 2 on here in the second inning.
Well, it's always important for the pitcher to get the first out of every inning, but for Wojo, well, that first out sometimes is hard to come by. Nobody out. Opponents hit .387, but then once he gets an out, they only hit .063, and with 2 out, very good .150. So it's always about the first out for Wojo.
What does that tell you as a former pitcher?
Well, it makes you wonder, okay, so is he taking his warm-up tosses, you know, seriously? Is he ready to go from the first batter? Because the first batter to me of every inning is the most important one. We all know if you get the first batter of the inning, the chance of the other team scoring from that point goes way down from there.
Ooh, nearly hit Jackie Bradley.
And Wojo doesn't do this, but some pitchers, you know, will just kind of lob the last pitch as it goes down to second base. To me, that's getting your rhythm all messed up. And this is a fastball trying to come inside, but a little bit too far inside on Jackie Bradley Jr. But I like the fact that Wojo's established his fastball. I like the fact that he's using the ball in for a strike and off the inside corner for a strike as well, or for a purpose pitch. And he backs it up, yeah, with that hard breaking ball right in the inside part. I'm like you. It's just a matter of time for these Red Sox hitters to come out of a little bit of funk they're in. You know, even Jackie Bradley Jr. last year had a good year from the power standpoint, 21 homers and 62 RBIs, and it's a very talented lineup. It just hasn't gotten going yet. If you're an Oriole fan, you hope that trend continues for at least 4 more games.
That is a little bit high ball too. Well, the strange thing about the Red Sox is you trade Mookie Betts, you figure the offense will be worse. Verdugo has actually been terrific. So at the moment, as well as Betts is going to play the rest of his career, you think at the moment they haven't lost much offensively in that trade, but the rest of the team has really fallen off. On 2-1, nice pitch. There's the cutter to tie up Bradley for strike 2.
You know, and Verdugo can go in the outfield too. And from a defensive standpoint, I don't think you lose a whole lot, but I like this pitch right here. That's the changeup. So pitching behind in the count, fastball count. Jackie Bradley Jr., pretty good fastball hitter. You don't give him a cookie. You take a little bit off, get him out in front, and get your count back to even 2-2 now.
Was the rare change to get the strike. And now 2-2. He goes to the fastball in.
So he slowed the bat down, sped it back up with the fastball in. It wouldn't surprise me to see him go. Although I think the changeup is probably his 4th best pitch, but if he's feeling it tonight, he may throw the changeup in this situation, try to get a swing and miss.
Another full count. And off speed to get Bradley looking. He went to the slow breaking ball, and Jackie Bradley Jr. never saw it coming.
Little backdoor action. I think Jackie Bradley Jr. thought this ball was up, and it was marginal, but it catches the top part of the box right there. And as a hitter, you see it off the outside corner. Backdoor, you give up on it right away. There's your spin. That's the curveball spin, and right where Pedro Severino was set up. And that is a huge strikeout for the Orioles and Asher Wojciechowski, but runners on first and second and nobody out at the time.
And that's an inch away from bases loaded, nobody out. Instead, double play ends the inning. And Jose Peraza is liable to hit one on the ground. 233, very little power. And a swing and a miss, strike 1 at the hard breaking ball. Peraza was 4 for 5 on opening night, knocked in a couple runs. You haven't seen him since. That 233 number might surprise you, understandably so. He has really struggled for the Red Sox. Strike 2.
Yeah, the Orioles gave up what, 13 in opening day against the Red Sox. You said, well, here comes this Red Sox offense. You knew it would be good. It's been one of the best offenses in baseball the last 2 years. Matter of fact, you go back to the World Series championship year, they averaged 5.4 runs per game. Well, they were better than that last year in 2019, 5.6 runs per game. But this year, not the same offense yet, only averaging 4.4 runs per game.
The offense has declined, and the pitching, particularly since 2018, has fallen straight off a cliff for the Red Sox. They've lost just about everybody of note from that 2018 team. 2-strike pitch is low.
You know, Sale's out with Tommy John. Of course, Price got traded. Rodriguez was supposed to be a part of the staff this year, you know, and he's had the trouble. So it's been kind of piecemeal together. But the bullpen, boy, it's had its struggles as well.
Other than that, their staff's been great.
Yeah.
Peraza checks his swing, 2-2. Jose Peraza, former Cincinnati Red. He and Jose Iglesias briefly intertwined there. Middle infield. Iglesias not available for this series, on the injured list, placed on the IL retroactive to a few days ago, the quad strain. Peraza lunges at this one. It's down in center field, and that will bring home the first run. Vasquez is in to score, and Pilar goes first to third. Jose Peraza starts the scoring with a bloop single here in the second.
Well, now how important now is the Vasquez catch or not catch out in the outfield? Breaking ball, not a bad pitch here. It's off the outside corner, but you see Peraza just kind of lean out there. It's not hit hard, but it's lobbed out in a perfect spot. There you see Vasquez coming around with the first run of the ball game. So first and third, 1 run in and 1 out. Exit velocity a whopping 68 miles an hour.
You wouldn't even get a look for that on the highway.
Can't break the speed limit. That's right.
Might get pulled over for going too slowly in some places. Top of the lineup, Verdugo. And strike one on the slow breaking ball. Next pitch will be Wojciechowski's 45th. And first a check on Peraza. Verdugo struck out swinging in the first. Breaking ball nearly got him in the stomach. Ten-game hit streak that's tied for the third longest in the major leagues, and he's got 7 in a row with an extra base hit to match Anthony Santander. Verdugo drives one on a hop to second. A bobble from Alberto, and the Orioles can't turn two. Would have been tricky, but the O's might have had a shot. Instead, it's another little defensive miscue, and it brings in Pilar for the second run.
Oh, this is kind of how it's been. It was like this against the Blue Jays on a couple of plays. Quickly trying to get turned towards second base, and that ball hits right in the heel of his glove and comes up, and he has to take the out over at first base. So what could have been an inning-ending double play plates another run for the Red Sox. And Verdugo runs well, so it had been, like you said, very iffy over there, but still you'd like to see the opportunity.
I'd guess, Ben, and you can tell me as a former starting pitcher, this would be particularly frustrating because it's been a fly ball that should have been caught. The only self-inflicted damage was really the walk, a little looper from Peraza and then a ground ball to bring in a run.
This is when it's very difficult. You know, and sometimes as a starting pitcher, you got to be a little bit selfish and say, I got to keep doing my job. Now, the walk is, but that's on me. But everything else felt like I made a couple of pretty good pitches, and then one was lobbed out for a base hit to left center field, one toward right center field.
Try to keep the damage at 2 runs. And Devers is tied up on that cutter.
And this is where you got to keep telling yourself, okay, keep doing the same. Don't try to change anything I'm doing, because while the scoreboard doesn't say I'm having success, I know from a baseball standpoint I am having success. I'm not hitting the ball hard. I just got to continue to do the things I'm doing.
How hard is that to do? How hard mentally is that?
Very hard. For a young player, it's extremely hard to do, because a young player wants to go harder and faster. And Mike Flanagan used to always tell me when I was really young, you got to try easier in the big situations, and that never computed with me. I always wanted to try. I always felt like I needed to try harder, do more, and that was got me in trouble a lot. And then later on in my career, I realized what he was talking about. Sometimes in fastball counts, take a little bit off. Just really focus, slow the game down, and continue to make your pitches. But it takes a veteran guy to do that a lot of times.
Well, this next pitch will be number 50 of the first 2 innings for Wojciechowski. Orioles in search of some more length from their starting pitchers, and 50 pitches in the first 2 innings is a difficult ingredient to mix into that recipe. Devers pops it up and out of play, still 1-2.
The pitch count continues to climb. What's it, 51 now?
23 in the first, 28 pitches here in the second inning. A lot of deep counts, a lot of foul balls. 2-2 for Devers. And a chopper into the shift. Velasquez, clean hop off the dirt, inning over. Red Sox get the first two across here in Baltimore.
Inning, Cedric Mullins is due up second this inning for the Orioles, and he is 6 for 14 since returning to the ball club when Austin Hayes was sent to the injured list. And Brandon Hyde talked about what he sees differently right now with Mullins.
I just think it's a little bit more confidence right now. Love the confidence he's playing with defensively as well. Really taking charge in center field, doing a really nice job out there.
Yeah, Mullins started this season 1 for 13 after a really rough 2019 where he was demoted to AAA Norfolk and AA Bowie, but maybe, just maybe, starting to hit his way out of it. You know the Orioles love him on the bases, and they love his defense in the outfield, Kevin and Ben.
Brett, it's a great point as Mullins is due up behind Dwight Smith Jr. here. The speed has been there for Mullins. The base stealing ability, the defense have always been there. If he can be a league average hitter, something resembling that, he is an everyday player in this league with the other tools he has.
Yeah, I think it really just boils down to confidence, you know, and you know, weighing in the back of his mind was the awful start he had last year. When you're named opening day center fielder, you're the starting opening day, and you struggle like you do at the plate. And he eventually got sent down 2 levels last year, as you guys know, to kind of get it going again. And he did. And he saw a hitting coach in the offseason, and he came to camp and he felt like he was a different guy. But then some of the same struggles emerged again, and he was sent, to the alternate camp for a while. But the club really needed him when Austin Hayes went down, and look, he's responded, and he's a difference maker on defense. He's a difference maker when he gets on the bases because he can steal bases.
Dwight Smith Jr. 1-2 to start this home second. 2 for 9 with a walk, 3 strikeouts in the Toronto series. Smith, Mullins, and Velasquez 7, 8, and 9 for the Orioles here in the second. Oh, quick turn in the windup there from Eovaldi, and he misses high. Smith goes down at 99 miles per hour from Eovaldi, his second strikeout.
Well, we told you Nathan Eovaldi can put on a smoke show at times, and this one 99 elevated up in the zone. You can see Dwight Smith Jr. swings about 6 inches underneath this ball, but that's some high octane stuff right there. And this guy, more than anybody in baseball, just perplexes me because of the stuff that he has. But when you look at the ERAs he throws up from time to time, you go, what in the world is going on? Because you see this kind of stuff and it just screams big time stuff.
Here's a beautiful bunt from Mullins. Devers was at the lip of the grass, and it didn't matter one lick.
You wonder what Devers was doing, because Mullins, a couple of his base hits here in the last week have been this right here. But this is just perfectly placed. I don't know if it really would have mattered. If you look where Devers was playing and the jump that he got, this ball, I don't know if you could have rolled it from home plate and killed it any better than what he did. And the way he runs, once he gets it there, there's no shot for anybody to throw him out.
By the way, Devers has really struggled in the field this year. He has 8 errors, so sending anything in his direction is a pretty good idea. Mullins now 6 for his last 12. And Velasquez drops down a bunt. Make Devers make another play. And this one he does make to first in time. Eovaldi scrambles to get to third and hold Mullins at second.
Velasquez thought, well, I'll give it a shot too. Now this bunt's not quite as good. You can see it more towards the pitcher's mound. A much easier play for Devers as he comes in and throw hops and right across the diamond for the second out of the inning.
Hunter Alberto grounded back to Eovaldi in the first. Tied for the American League lead, 33 hits. Likely number 34 would bring in a run. By the way, that is officially a sacrifice bunt for Velasquez. Sometimes it's a question if you think a batter's trying to bunt for a hit. Mark Jacobson, our scorer, gives him the benefit of the sacrifice. Two and 0 for Alberto. Baldy has seen his ERA jump after every start this season. 6 innings, 1 run against the Orioles opening day. A little bit worse statistically every time since. On 2-0, he misses. And this is a once in a blue moon sight, a 3-0 count for free swinging Hanser Alberto.
Well, Evaldi took a shellacking his last time out. I mean, against the Yankees, 5 1/3, 9 hits, 8 runs, earned runs in 5 1/3. Of course, his last 2 times out, he's faced the Rays and the Yankees. Those are two pretty good offensive clubs as well.
First and second in the league. Rays swept that series today, jumped a half game ahead of the Yankees, 17-9. Yankees are 16-9 in the East. Orioles are at 500. They were tied with the Blue Jays, but the Blue Jays just beat the Phillies in the back half of a doubleheader, so Jays are now 12-11, and at the moment a half game up for third. Alberto on 3-1, sends one into right. Pilar with a late break comes sliding in to make the catch. Time at the popular Oriole Park at Camden Yards hot dog race. Those fans, ketchup, relish, and mustard are ready to go on home plate. Which one will come out on top? Play along to the full version during our commercial break. Get to the game. Rays beat the Yankees 10-5. The Rays are in first in the American League East, 17-9, and the Blue Jays with a couple of 1-run 7-inning wins over the Phillies. They've won 5 in a row after coming in here. Marauders, they're now 12-11, half game up on the O's for third place. Kevin Brown, Ben McDonald from Camden Yards, where the Orioles are hunting for a win. They have dropped 11 of 15 in this park. They've won 8 of 9 on the road.
Yeah, the offensive numbers for the Orioles in this ballpark just doesn't make sense because it's such an offensive ballpark.
Right.
You know, but it's been last 16 games, the Orioles are 1-9 at home on the last 16 games, averaging just 3.5 runs a game. They go on the road during those 16 games. They're 6-0, averaging 8 runs a game.
Maybe they just love cardboard cutouts.
That or room service, one or the other. I hadn't figured it out.
1-1 for JD. He fouls it away. 2 strikes on Martinez. Part of the Red Sox order against Asher Wojciechowski. Wojo needs a quick one here. 23 pitches in the first, 29 in the second. In the air to right. Santander in foul territory. That'll help. This season we're recognizing some of the Orioles' biggest fans, and tonight we're honoring Black Level member Christopher Michael from Glen Burnie. Hey Chris. Christopher's been a Birdland member since 2014. I feel like we see this every other time with Birdland members. Favorite O's memory? Why not? Being in the stands for that Delman Young game-winning double in Game 2 of the 14 LDS. Learn more about Birdland memberships, how you can join at Orioles.com/memberships. That's got to be the clubhouse leader for favorite Birdland member memory, right? The Delman Young double this year?
Yeah, I think for the younger crowd, yes, no doubt about it. If you go back a little further than that, it's probably, being in the stands for Cal Ripken's 21-31.
And since you bring up Cal, we got to mention we want to wish Cal our best today. He revealed today that he was diagnosed with prostate cancer in February. He was treated and is now cancer-free. So our best wishes to Cal, and so thankful to hear that he is feeling strong.
Yeah, they caught it evidently very early. Of course, he's encouraging everybody to stay up, with your checkups and your medical stuff, because his was caught early and didn't need any kind of treatment afterwards.
Xander Bogaerts in the air to left field. Valaika Up near the wall. It is gone. Well, Xander Bogaerts came in slumping, and he singled to right and homered to left. And the Red Sox have shown early signs of offensive life here in Baltimore.
Yeah, this looked like an off-speed pitch that was in the do not disturb area for Xander Bogaerts. I know he's been a struggle with big league hitters. Yep, it looks like the changeup grip coming. Righty on righty trying to throw that changeup. He turns it over. Look where this ball ends up. And that's the danger with throwing an off-speed pitch like a changeup to a right-handed pitcher. You don't want the ball to be on the inside part of the plate. You want the changeup to be down and away, not inside. And that's a missed spot by Wojciechowski.
He has been throwing the changeup a little bit more than we usually see tonight, and it burned him there. Bogaerts with a home run, his 5th of the season.
Yeah, because it's always been his 4th best pitch, and he even said in spring training and summer camp that, you know, he changed the grip on his changeup and he's trying to get a feel for it, and that's a pitch that he wants to develop, which is great. But, you know, I don't know if he just doesn't have the confidence in his looping breaking ball. It seemed like we hadn't seen many of the overhand curveballs that he's used more this year of the 2 breaking balls. We've seen the hard slider, cut fastball, whatever you want to call it, a little bit. But most right-handers, you know, are going to throw the changeup to the left-handed batters and vice versa.
There's that slow breaking ball, but it misses outside. He has thrown that, Ben, 11 times now tonight, as compared to 10 changeups. Usually that's a much more drastic jump. More curves or slow sliders, fewer changes.
But I always tell people I don't question pitch selection as much as I question pitch location, right? So I mean, the changeup might have been the right pitch, but if you get it where it needs to be, it's most probably an out. When you make a bad pitch on, no matter how you got a hitter set up, if you make a bad pitch to a big league hitter, and that's the thing about the big leagues, your mistakes are magnified.
That's something worth monitoring, because he gave up a couple of early home runs in his time with the Orioles last year on that changeup, and he basically shut it down for the rest of the year after the first few starts. So let's keep an eye on where the changeup goes the rest of this one. 3-1 for Moreland. That's in the air to Valaika. Easy play, 2 down. Christian Vasquez started the 2nd inning rally with that pop-up single to left. Fell in between Valaika and a diving Mullins. He is always among the league leaders for grimiest batting helmet, Christian Vasquez.
He's a catcher, it seems like. I mean, the catchers, that's how they are.
No need to hide your true personality, I suppose.
Plenty of pine tar and rosin on that helmet.
Fabulous flow of Wojo against the muddy chrome of Vasquez. Strike 1 on a high fastball fouled back. I mean, from some angles you can barely even see the red bead.
Yeah.
I know you didn't bat much, but did it bother you when your helmet or your hat got dirty?
No, it really didn't. I had the big salt ring around my hat all the time on the mound, just from sweating. And when you have it, you know, baseball players can be a little bit superstitious at times, as you know. And so you don't, if you're having success, if it ain't broke, you don't fix it. You just keep wearing it.
What was your great? I know I'm starting a story with 2 outs, or asking a question with 2 outs. What was your greatest superstition?
Probably fish. The day of the game, I always like to get a piece of fish somewhere. You know, so for lunch, yeah, pregame meal. A little pasta, a little fish.
Anything particular? Salmon, tilapia?
Salmon was
Mahi,
my favorite.
mahi?
Yeah, I like mahi.
Whitefish?
All that stuff's good. You know, where I come from, we eat all kinds of fish, catfish,
Yeah.
whatever, sardines. It doesn't matter.
Catfish are good. You ever have anchovies?
I do not like anchovies on my Caesar salad. No, I'm not a fan of that.
I'm anti-Caesar salad anchovies, but I'll just say if you ever go to Italy, anchovies there are the way to go. Anchovies
It's a
here,
different anchovy?
I can pass.
So
Fresh out of the ocean, Amalfi Coast. This is not a tourism ad, I promise. I'm just saying, if you ever find yourself in Italy when we're allowed to travel again,
right.
go to Italy, get some anchovies.
Well, I might have to try that.
Tell them Kevin sent you. They'll say, what? Ooh.
No, I'm going to take you up on that.
3-2 off speed, strike 3. Wojciechowski picks up strikeout number 4. Our Hyundai do-ups for the Orioles. Bring on the epic summer savings now at the Hyundai Epic Summer Sales Event. We got a special guest joining us via Zoom tonight. Do you know who it is? It's Brian Roberts. I didn't give you a chance to answer.
I can always tell by the hair it's B-Rob.
It's tough to get it to stand up that tall in the event. I don't know what happened. I give my kids some gel and I just say go at it. This is what I end up with.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
B-Rob, we got Anthony Santander leading off the bottom of the third for the O's here. I'm sure you've been impressed with his last couple of weeks. What are you taking away from his approaches the last few weeks in particular?
Well, I mean, this is just a carryover to me from last year. I was so impressed with his approach at the plate. I was impressed with how equal he is from both sides of the plate. Obviously, right there, you get 97 painted on the inside corner, but in his first at-bat, he takes the sinker down and away and just takes his single the other way. But then if he gets one up and in, he's able to turn on it and hit it in the flag court. I mean, he's just got a very mature approach to be 25 years of age.
As a switch hitter as well, I'm sure you can relate to the difficulty of the controlled approach he seems to have from both sides right now.
Yeah, I mean, I can certainly relate to how difficult it is to be swinging the bat well from both sides of the plate at the same time. And he is doing that extremely well, obviously, at this point. And I just, coming out of spring training last year, I felt like he should have made the team. I thought he was somebody who had this capability. He went down, proved himself, and he is going to be at the heart of this order for a while.
Breaking ball popped up in the infield, near a collision between Moreland, who puts it away, and Bogarts one down. So Nathan Eovaldi 2 1/3 scoreless to start. And here's Renato Nunez, who beat him with a single the first time.
B-Rob, how about Nathan Eovaldi, right? You see this kind of stuff year in and year out. And I know he was a big part of their championship run in 2018. He was awesome down the stretch and in the playoffs. But he's just a mystery to me. When I see the stuff that jumps out of his hand at you, you wonder how he can have nearly a 6 ERA on the season right now. and it's,
I couldn't agree more.
It's crazy. It's one of the best fastballs in baseball. It has some explosion to it. I think his off-speed stuff is good. He doesn't walk batters. He had 5 walks coming in 27 innings pitched, which is outstanding, but he's got a 6 ERA.
Yeah, and the numbers that stick out, obviously, as you mentioned, are the fact that his strikeout to walk ratio is excellent. What's going on? It's that when they put the ball in play, they're putting the ball in play with hard contact. And I don't know how guys are barreling it up on at such a high rate. I don't know if he's tipping pitches. I don't know if guys just see it out of the hand extremely well. But even when he was in Miami, 5 years ago, everybody knew his stuff was electric and off the chart. He got hurt, then the Yankees went out and got him. He had some really, really good stretches in New York and then came to Boston, obviously dealt on that World Series run. But it's never been a consistent stretch, and I think that's probably very frustrating, certainly for the Red Sox and teams that he's been on. With that kind of stuff, you would think he should be dominant on a pretty consistent basis.
Hard hit rate against Eovaldi this year, to your point, B-Rob, 42%. So that's well above league average. A lot of balls being put in play against Eovaldi are being put in play hard. As Nunez takes a cold, strike 3, and there are 2 down in the third.
Yeah, but that right there, this is what we've seen tonight, is that dominating stuff. And, you get 97, 98 up in the zone, and then you just get a filthy split right here. And even though it's right in the center of the zone, the velocity as well as that late movement, that late fighting action, even when it's up in the zone, it just freezes you. It's case in point to me right there how you can have that sort of stuff and yet that hard hit rate be up there when the people are putting it in play at 40%. They're hitting it hard. It's baffling.
Severino on the ground to second. Jose Peraza to first, inning over. Done with 3 and a 3-0 Boston lead. By the redesigned 2020 RAV4, ready for any adventure. Go Toyota. Let's go places. Kevin Brown, Ben McDonald here at Camden Yards. Don't worry, folks. These seats are going to be yours very soon. We are keeping them warm for you until hopefully next year.
There's almost a ball in every seat. There's going to be a ball in every seat. Foul balls are everywhere, so everybody will have a ball maybe when they come back.
Put them in the cup holders when you get back. Brian Roberts is with us right now as well from his Sarasota hideaway. Bureau, what do your kids do when you join the broadcast on Zoom, by the way?
I tape their mouth shut, and I fortunately do have a little separate structure that I can go into, a little guest house in the back, and so they're in bed. I hope I'll find out, I'm sure, when I get back in there from my wife how well that went.
Parenting 101. I hope. Yeah, we'll see.
If anybody has young kids, you know that bedtime, it's like it never comes around, yet it comes around every night. It's like, what? We have to go to bed?
This again? Kevin Pillar against Asher Wojciechowski to lead off the fourth. Pillar, Jackie Bradley Jr., Jose Peraza for the Red Sox. 3 innings for Wojciechowski. The pitch count high, 72 coming into this fourth inning. At this point, sitting in the Orioles dugout, Ben, you're looking to get 5 out of him, maybe?
Maybe. I think that's the goal. And I think that's where all starters want to be for the Orioles, is, working at least into the 6th inning. That's the idea. Now, with the pitch count being what it was the first couple of innings for him, you knew he probably wasn't going to go 6 for you. But if you could get 5 out of him, considering the way it started, I think it'd be a nice outing.
Pillar pops it up. That should help. Alberto and Nunez converge. Alberto's got it 1 away. We have seen, Brian, the last few days some miscues for the Orioles in the field. Some errors, some not. But this is something we talked about earlier, and it's happened a couple of times today. Alberto with a little bobble on the ground ball. Valleca with a misplay in left. Is there something that stands out to you team-wide defensively here as you look over these past few games?
Well, I think you've got a few guys maybe playing out of position, for one. Valleca's not a true left fielder, and Cedric Mullins certainly is a center fielder, but that was a lack of communication, not maybe knowing where each other was playing. I think Valleca didn't maybe know exactly where Cedric was playing. He probably should have gone and gotten that ball. Alberto really certainly could have been a double play, possibly little bobble here and there. This is a young team. Ben mentioned it earlier. That position player wise, this is the 3rd youngest team in all of baseball behind Toronto and San Diego. So you are going to have these small little miscues. Some of them will be errors. Some of them may not actually go down as errors, but maybe just little lapses in concentration. And especially when you have some injuries and you're moving guys around, you're going to have people that maybe just aren't comfortable in a certain position and they don't go after the ball in a way that they would if that was their natural spot.
Yeah, but what it boils down to is extra opportunities for the teams, and the Red Sox, while they've been struggling offensively, look, they're a team that you just can't give extra opportunities to because they're going to take advantage of it, and they have so far tonight.
Sure, Ben, as a pitcher, and you could see Asher Wojciechowski's reaction when that blooper fell in left field. It's like, it's demoralizing, right? As a pitcher, when a ball is hit with a percentage of 6% of getting a base hit, as you mentioned. It's a good piece of hitting right there by Jackie Bradley on the fastball away. But it's demoralizing as a pitcher. And so then you got to somehow regather yourself, go out and continue to make quality pitches. And I don't care what a team's record is. It's full of 1 through 9 guys that are meant to be in the big leagues, and you give them extra chances, and they're going to make you pay eventually.
Peraza made the Orioles pay with that bloop single in the second, brought in the first run. He bats after the Bradley base hit. Red Sox have a hit in every inning, 6 total. And Bradley, who's a threat to steal, gets thrown back to first. Jackie Bradley Jr. has not attempted a steal this year. The Red Sox are just 6 for 10 as a team. 2020 baseball, you get to first and you stay at first. Strike 1 to Peraza, outside corner or thereabouts. Orioles first of 4 against the Red Sox. John Means will get the start tomorrow night. Red Sox starter is TBD after the O's won 2-3 at Fenway Park to begin the season. Did you like playing the Red Sox, Brian, and particularly at Fenway Park? I know we're not there right now, but was that a fun ballpark for you to go to?
You know, I loved going to Fenway. I always loved the old ballparks, Old Yankee Stadium, Fenway, Wrigley. Those were my favorite parks. I didn't have the greatest numbers in Fenway, to be honest with you, I don't think. I just couldn't feel comfortable at the plate. It's interesting, as Ben would know, as a hitter or vice versa as a pitcher, there are just places that just don't suit your eye. And Fenway was kind of one of those places for me.
There's a drive into the corner. Santander has got it. And fair territory, 1 away. Orioles Empowerment Series provides a platform to elevate the voices, perspectives, and insights of community leaders throughout Birdland. As part of the series, we cover topics from women's empowerment, the power of exercising your right to vote, and more, including a speakers forum and the Voter Up campaign. Visit Orioles.com/empowerment to learn more. Access exclusive content. Appropriate week for that. 100th anniversary 2 days ago of the ratification of the 19th Amendment, granting women the right to vote. Alex Verdugo, the batter, with 2 down.
I tell you, we're talking about stealing bases and staying at first base, but I was watching Jackie Bradley Jr.'s lead earlier, and that is one of the most bizarre leads I've seen. I mean, he sets up from first base, facing second base like he's a sprinter almost. I don't know how you get back that way, as you can see it a little bit.
Yeah, and he's not the first one I've seen B-Rob do that this year. It's almost like it's not becoming very common, but there was a few other position players I see with that kind of opened up the feet or opened up towards second base. And you're right, I don't know how you get back, but unless you just got a one-way lead, it's a short lead, then I guess you can do it. But it would make it very difficult for me, I would think, to try to get back, especially if you got a big lead, because all his weight is leaning towards second base. Looks like you're on a start line getting ready to take off.
Yeah, to me, you would have to have one thought in your head, and that's going back. Like, that's not a stealing lead to me. If you have all your weight leaning towards second base and your body facing second base, you can't make a quick move to get back. So, in my opinion, it's almost like a dead giveaway that he's not running, because he's got to only be thinking back at that point.
Well, Wojciechowski just threw him back before Bradley had a chance to get into that sprinter's lead. Is that something, Ben, you notice as a pitcher? You'd be thinking along that same track?
I used to always look for the cut of the grass. You know, that was my thing when I came up. If I saw the front foot towards the cut of the grass and wanting to inch forward, that was always a telltale sign for me that I better be throwing over, at least stepping off and getting him back. But he's got a short lead right now, and the way he's leading, I'm with B-Rob on that. He's not bothering me a whole lot. Other than I know that he can run. That's always in the back of your mind.
Yeah, the cut of the grass was always where I was trying to get to, Ben. So I agree with you there. I mean, as a base stealer, you're wanting to get out to that, almost like you know it's 12, 13, 14 feet out there from first base. Now, all the cuts are a little different at each field. At Camden Yards, that cut's pretty far out there, so it can get a little scary when you get that far out there at times.
Bradley with the arm tucked in. He holds, and Verdugo misses, strike 2.
B-Rob, is that something that every ballpark you went to, maybe you went and looked at the cut of grass, how far it was, where you thought 12 or 13 feet was, as Asher just rides that four-seam fastball up in the zone? But did you go check out every cut of the grass so you kind of knew where you wanted to be with your lead?
Well, over time, playing in the parks, you kind of get used to them. But yes, early on, I would, as soon as I got on, I'd try to figure out how far that cut was and where I wanted to be. And I think anybody who is a base stealer, they know based on the amount of steps they take off of first base, how many feet that is off of the bag. So whether you're trying to get 12 feet or 15 feet, you have a good lead at that point. And that's kind of how you can base whether you can get a good jump or not.
That's hit hard toward the shift and through from Verdugo. Bradley motors to third. He was ready to go, and go he went. Takes the extra base, and the Red Sox have 2 on for Devers.
Well, Verdugo.
Well, they gave up. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say they gave up Mookie, but Verdugo's really been one of the few bright spots on this team offensively, and he's come in swinging the bat pretty well. Beats the shift right there. Jackie Bradley, as you mentioned, he can run a little bit. Gets from first to third. Looks like Brandon Hyde's coming out.
Dylan Tate, who started throwing this inning, is coming in. 3 2/3 for Wojciechowski. He leaves with a couple on base, and it's up to Tate.
Well, the Red Sox have knocked out Asher Wojciechowski here in the 4th inning. He was good early, riding that fastball up in the zone and got a couple of big punch outs in the 1st inning. Showed you a pretty good breaking ball. He gets Jackie Bradley Jr. There's a hard 3-2 breaking ball. He gets Vasquez. There's the numbers. 3 2/3, 7 hits, 3 runs. He's responsible for runners on first and third. Only walked 1, punched out 4, but 88 pitches and 56 strikes. And this pitching change is brought to you by Jiffy Lube. Jiffy Lube multi-care stores do brake services. Stop in and let Jiffy Lube multi-care inspect your brakes today, as Dylan Tate will take over for him. Dylan Tate worked in 1 game, 0-0 record, elevated ERA, making his 2nd appearance for the Orioles this year.
Pitched 3 days ago, and his first one fouled away by Rafael Devers. Tate was out much of the season. Got hit with a comebacker in summer camp. He returned. He gave the Orioles a couple of good innings on Monday night before giving up a home run to Kevin Biggio in the 9th. But once again, the Orioles bullpen, Ben, is going to have to pick up some outs. They'll need at least, if my math is correct, 16 outs tonight. Two on for Devers, and that's a called strike from Will Little. 0-2.
Yeah, well, Tate's one of those guys. It's a big fastball. You'll see him at 92 there, but he'll rush it up into the mid-90s from time to time. Pretty good slider.
Bradley's at third. He singled with 1 out. Verdugo, who singled with 2 outs, is covered up at first base.
Ben, that was a pretty good take, in my opinion, right there. 0-2, you get that fastball riding up in the zone. It's a hard pitch to lay off of.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, and it, you hope you get the swing and miss, but it also changes the eye level, as you know. And so if you got a pretty good breaking ball, typically you're going to see a lot of pitchers come back with that breaking ball right behind that high fastball. I don't know if I'd throw it for a strike, but I'd certainly get it near the zone.
1-2 was a breaking ball. Devers drives it to Valleca. And the inning is over. 2 more stranded. Tate does the job. Orioles baseball on MASN is brought to you by PNC, helping to make banking easier. Another lovely night near the Inner Harbor. Red Sox with the lead. Game 1 of a 4-game series. Kevin Brown, Matt McDonald here at the park. Brian Roberts joining us via Zoom on this Thursday night. And Nathan Eovaldi's been terrific. Only 12 balls in the first 3 innings. He has retired 5 in a row. 3 singles, all ground ball hits, 1 walk, and he struck out 3.
Yeah, the Orioles are still trying to solve the mystery of Nathan Eovaldi. That's 9 innings on the year. Only 1 run has he given up against the Orioles.
Rio Ruiz takes ball 1. So, B-Rob, I know you and Eovaldi only overlap by a couple of seasons. Did you see him at the end of your big league career?
Yeah, I did see him. And even in person, it's the same thing. It's just the stuff is just electric. I mean, I think we've probably been, you and I both played with guys that that had that kind of stuff, and they were kind of enigmas a little bit. You know, Daniel Cabrera certainly comes to mind for me, a teammate of mine in Baltimore. 99 miles an hour, you know, a nasty hard slider. But his problem generally was just too many walks and lack of command and that sort of stuff. Evaldi, it's certainly not a lack of command. It's just keeping the ball off the barrel when they do make contact. And you would think 97, 98 running away in that split. But the cutter is actually the one that's kind of gotten him in the most trouble this year. Guys have had a lot of success against that cutter. And you kind of wonder with the analytics how much pitchers look at that and know about that, and maybe over the course of these next couple starts, does he start to back off the cutter and move to other pitches more like the split right there?
Yeah, I mean, and you're right. I mean, typically when you see this kind of stuff, it normally boils down to lack of command. I mean, that's what normally gets guys' ERAs up. But when you see the walks on the season, you don't see it with him. And I think you said something interesting earlier about, is he potentially tipping pitches? You know, and I know, you know, around the league, and it's always a secret. It's kept a secret a lot of times, but that's something I thought about too. I said, well, he's got to be tipping pitches at times, and maybe the hitters know what's coming, you know. But I don't know that to be the case, but it almost feels that.
Yeah, and that can happen, I think, probably with guys that throw a split, maybe more than a lot of other guys, just because they have to dig for it or start with it, and then either change that grip or kick or not change it. And sometimes guys can pick up glove movement, the way an elbow moves, just little things. It doesn't take a lot, especially with the amount of video that's out there nowadays, you know, to pick up on those tiny little nuances that you can gain an advantage as a hitter.
3-2 for Rio, and a ground ball to the left side. The only infielder there against the shift is Devers, the third baseman, who throws him out.
So even though he throws 97, 98, we've seen a couple of 99s, 3-2 count to Rio, and you got a decent lead here in the middle part of this game. He throws a 3-2 cut fastball and gets a ground ball.
Yeah, and that pitch is so difficult at that velocity. You know, starting in the middle of the plate, running in on your hands as a lefty. The one thing we've seen tonight, guys just haven't been able to get the ball in the air off of Evaldi. And it's a heavy ball, too. That's the crazy part, Ben, is the velocity. But sometimes 97, it feels light, actually, when you're hitting it, if it's straight. Evaldi's ball is not straight. It's got some movement to it, and it feels heavy when you hit it.
Only one flyout, B-Rob, to your point, in this game. One flyout from Alberto, one pop-out from Santander. Everything else on the ground or a strikeout, including Baleka, who grounded out with the bases loaded to end the first. '50th pitch coming for Evaldi. 30-year-old with a 5.99 ERA last year. And that's smoked foul, strike two. That man's been searching for answers this week. 4-game losing streak has dropped the O's back to 500. On the ground to third, and Devers 2 down. Another ground out.
It's kind of been that way this year. Kind of been that way this year, hasn't it? Just a sweep, couple sweeps, then get swept, and then another sweep, and then get swept. It's just that inconsistency sometimes that you get with a very young team is being able to keep that momentum going and win one and not get swept by 3 or 4 in those series. And that's just something I think this team is going to continue to learn more and more about themselves and how to stay away from those sorts of things over the course of the year.
Is there something tangible, Brian, that you can point to? I mean, how to do that?
Well, I think you can look at the Toronto series. They were in some close games that they lost, right? And I think being a young team, one of the biggest things is learning to win the close games. And that boils down to, as we've talked about, execution on the little things, right? It's situational hitting. It is making sure balls that should be caught are caught, and those sorts of things. So I think really a lot of times you can't do anything except gain experience in the way that you learn how to do that. Sometimes it just takes more and more games, but I think that's the biggest issue.
So wicked breaking ball from Evaldi, strike 2 to Smith.
Well, he's shown you the hard cutter, the bigger breaking ball, the splitter, a little bit of everything. And the ability to throw all of them just about any count so far, too. We saw a couple splitters behind in the count.
A little bit quicker to the plate.
Yeah.
And inside for ball 2.
And now he's starting to show you a little bit different mechanic. He came up last time and kind of hung, you know, a couple of pitches ago at balance point. That time he didn't even really pick his leg up, almost straight to the plate.
Two for Dwight Smith. A little bit of a longer leg hold this time on the kick, and a fastball burned by him. B-Rob, always so fun to have you join us. Thanks for being with us. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys, go get a W.
Take care, B-Rob.
All right.
/enter to submit today's word of the day. Chesapeake, for a chance to win an autographed Orioles prize pack, brought to you by Chesapeake Employers Insurance, your workers' compensation insurance specialist. Always wonderful to have Brian Roberts join us for a couple of innings.
Yeah. There's a look at Dylan Tate. He's going to have to be good. He's got to throw up some zeros, preferably 2 or 3 of them in a row, to give this Oriole offense a chance to climb back in this one.
The Nevada native Tate to J.D. Martinez. And a fastball 94 starts the 5th. Stranded the runners in the 4th inning. Did his job off the start. Stranded a couple of runners. Asher Wojciechowski's line complete. 3 earned and 3 2/3. Another shorter than they'd like start for an Orioles hurler. J.D. Martinez strikeout and a foul out so far. Red Sox got 2 in the 2nd, then 1 in the 3rd on a home run from the on-deck man, Xander Bogaerts. That is powered into center field by Martinez. Cedric Mullins with a little bit of room. Those fans exclusive Negro League Centennial Celebration game use bases, Dwight Smith Jr. jersey, Austin Hayes baseball, and more are available now at the Orioles online auction. Bidding closes this Sunday, just 3 days from now, 10 p.m. Eastern, so don't wait. Proceeds will benefit our friends at James Mosher Baseball, the oldest African-American youth baseball league in the country, one of the original organizations to be part of our Reviving Baseball in Inner Cities program. Bid now and learn more at Orioles.com/auction. Had a chance to talk to some of the fine folks at James Mosher Baseball this weekend, celebrating the centennial anniversary of the Negro Leagues. Fantastic people who are doing awesome work with kids in this community. Ball on a strike on Bogaerts, 2 for 2, single in that home run. And a good take there on a slider. It's not been a great start for Bogaerts. 333 on base, limping a little bit, but you figure it's probably a small sample size deal with him. One of the great hitters in baseball last year, only 27 years old. And the Red Sox are in an interesting spot now, Ben, because they're 7-18. Even with the expanded playoffs, they don't seem like a team that has a shot. And there are starting to be whispers, you know, who will the Red Sox trade and who would they not make expendable? You wouldn't think Bogaerts would be expendable, but there are some folks that say, well, after Boston traded Mookie Betts, is anything out of the realm of possibility?
I think all options are open. I think the return is obviously going to be the key. You know, what do you get in return? I mean, nobody's going to make a move just to make a move. You got to feel like you're getting the better end of the deal if you're going to move a guy like Bogaerts.
Down he goes in a high slider. Dylan Tate picks up the strikeout, his first.
If you talk to Red Sox people, that right there is the difference in Bogaerts this year. Last year, 33 homers. He hit 309, 117 RBIs, but he wasn't chasing pitches like this so much last year out of the zone. This is a slider that's clearly up out of the strike zone, and Bogaerts offers at it and can't come up with a piece of it. And, you know, as a hitter or a pitcher, you know, you get a bad start to the season. You want to try to catch up as quickly as you can. Well, it starts to chew on you because of the anxiety, right? You're anxious and you want to make something happen, and that's kind of where Bogaerts is right now. Last year, he got off to a wonderful start. He finished strong as well. But the start this year, not so good.
Got a changeup swung through for strike one now to Mitch Moreland. 2 flyouts, one to the wall and right. Strike 2. Goes off speed again.
Back-to-back changeups. So pretty good breaking ball. Low to mid-90s fastball. A good changeup. He's running down and away from the left-hander.
Tate searching for a 1-2-3, and he won't get there. Little flare to the left for Mitch Moreland, who's reached base in 11 straight.
Yeah, well, Dylan Tate tried to go to the well one too many times, so he tried 3 consecutive changeups, and Mitch Moreland just too good of a hitter. This ball's borderline strike, running down and away from him, but he makes sure he stays on this one with the front shoulder, and that's the key. He doesn't run out of bat. Just kind of lobs it out over the shortstop, Andrew Velasquez's head.
That was the old Vince Lombardi power sweep philosophy. I'm going to keep throwing this pitch until you beat me.
And I don't question the pitch, but I'd like to see him maybe go to fastball right in on the black. If you miss off the plate. Then you come back with that good changeup. But big league hitters, man, you try to throw 3 of the same pitches in a row to them, they tend to time that up pretty good.
There's a strike on the black to Vasquez. Seen all 4 of Tate's pitches out of the bullpen tonight. And again, the Orioles like his stuff. He, at this point, appears to be the centerpiece in the Zach Britton deal from 2 years ago. Cody Carroll has been up a couple of times, but not terribly effective. Josh Rogers, Tommy John surgery last year. The Orioles love Tate's arm. Can they get him to deliver more consistently after missing the first few weeks of this season due to injury?
Well, I think that's a lot. You know, you mentioned Cody Carroll. There's a lot of where these Oriole relievers, some of them are, is fighting consistency, trying to figure it out at the big league level. You mentioned Rogers. I really like him. I think he's going to be a difference maker when he comes back all the way back from Tommy John surgery. I think he's going to be a little bit better. He's in a lot better shape from what I hear, throwing the ball harder than what he did.
Vasquez scoops one just out of play. If you're an Orioles lefty the past year or so, you tend to pick up some velocity. You're hearing that about Rogers. We've seen that with John Means, seen that with Paul Fry as well. And it's not uncommon for pitchers to have Tommy John and then actually come back and add a couple of miles per hour.
No, it's very true. And it's not because they had surgery. It's because during the rehab process it takes so long. You get an opportunity to get your body, your entire body, from your legs to your core to your arm, of course, in the best shape it's ever been in. And the guys that take advantage of that are the guys you will see come back sometimes throwing a little bit harder than what they threw before.
2-strike pitch is just off the corner. Ball 3.
7th pitch at this at bat coming.
Red Sox drove up Wojciechowski's pitch count 88 in just 3 2/3. This will be number 24 for Tate. Moreland on the move, and Vasquez got a piece. Is that another changeup, righty-righty?
You know, if you watch Pedro Severino, the Oriole catcher, he likes the changeups. Righty on righty. Typically, you don't do that because the ball is coming back. You see, when you throw it from a right-handed pitcher to a right-handed hitter, it is moving back towards a right-handed hitter. And typically, you throw it to left-handers because you want it moving down and away from the left-hander. And if you have a good enough changeup, you can, but you better start it on the outside part of the plate and try to keep it on the outer third. And of course, down is always the key with the changeup, down in the zone.
3-2 pitch drilled to left, and Valleca is there. Inning and a third, scoreless for Tate. Midway through, it's 3-0 Sox.
O'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
We had a special national anthem singer tonight, Orioles broadcaster Jeff Arnold. Jeff is calling tonight's game on the Orioles radio network, but before his life in sportscasting, he did a lot of singing growing up, and while he was broadcasting in the minor leagues, Jeff would fill in a few times a year when the scheduled anthem singer either didn't post or would maybe get cold feet. He has those great pipes, and let's hope he has some left to do play-by-play duties tonight after belting out our Star-Spangled Banner. And Kevin, you always hear about how versatility is really important in our industry. Well, Jeff is making the rest of us look really bad.
And Brett, I think you do 17 different jobs with the Orioles, so if he's making you look bad, that is impressive.
He's making all of us look bad.
I want to know if either of you timed Jeff. I didn't have a stopwatch on that anthem, but that is the clubhouse leader for quickest anthem of the year, which we all appreciate.
That was, and I can't relate to voice lessons. He said he had voice lessons growing up. I never did that.
You didn't?
I probably should have, but I didn't.
2 strikes on Mullins. He checks his swing. Ben, we love you just the way you are. Don't change that draw.
Good. No, it's too late for me to change.
It was impressive, though. I mean, Jeff, who was doing a fantastic job at his first year with our radio crew, he'll be on the TV side a little bit later in the year. He knocked it out of the park,
yes, he did,
as they say, just to throw another baseball cliche up there. Wow. 99 paint job from Eovaldi. Good luck.
Yeah, this just hurts your feelings. I mean, you're looking all speed pitches, breaking balls, whatever you get, and Vasquez sets up right on the inside. Watch this. Dots an I. Not only does he dot an I, but it's 9-9er. 99 on the inside part. And I don't care who's standing in the batter's box. No chance on that.
That's just sick. And then he comes back with a cutter. Strike 1 to Velasquez. Andrew Velasquez 0 for 5 with a walk, 3 strikeouts in the Toronto series. Sack bunt in his first trip up. Eovaldi out of Alvin, Texas. That's the hometown of Nolan Ryan.
That's right.
Another guy who could throw it up there at 98, 99.
They say he's got a Nolan Ryan fastball. He was an 11th round draft pick by the Dodgers out of high school.
Had 2 Tommy John surgeries. We're talking about guys who throw harder after Tommy John. This might be Exhibit A. This will be a tough play. Moreland was off of first, and he is there in time. Velasquez takes a tumble and has nothing to show for it.
Well, this is one of these tweener balls that everybody goes for. So you're going to see Eovaldi going for it. Moreland's going for it. Peraza's coming, but Eovaldi gets it, shovels it back to Moreland in a very athletic play, and I mean just by a toenail. Let's see if the foot gets to the bag. Oh yes, just barely. That's why it has to be communication in the infield as well as the outfield. Eovaldi calling that ball, so Moreland knew to get back to the bag.
The rare headfirst slide into the base too, and maybe Velasquez was thinking, if I go straight up, I might barrel into Moreland as close as he was coming.
And that's a guy you don't want to run into is Moreland. He's pretty thick over there at first base.
I'd rather not. I'll stay away from that one. Alberto is grounded out back to Eovaldi, flat out to right. Orioles have just 3 hits in the game, 1 walk. This will be a tough play for Devers. Bare hands his only chance. Not in time. Boy, it was artfully done too by Rafael Devers, who has really struggled in the field this year, but Alberto beats it out.
Alberto smelling that base hit, and you're right. Devers has had his struggles, but not on this play. Bare hands it across the body, accurate and with something on it, and a really nice stretch on the back end by Moreland, but Hanser Alberto out of the box quickly, and I mean just barely beats this one out.
Couple of bang bang plays at first. The Red Sox get 1 bang, the Orioles get 1. And now here is the man on the 15-game hit streak. Whole lot of those for extra bases. Anthony Santander. High and tight throw behind Alberto. He is safe. Vasquez was licking his lips behind the plate.
Yeah, you ever watch Vasquez play, he likes to show that arm off. He is not afraid to throw behind the runners.
He's already picked off a couple this year. Santander on the longest hit streak in Major League Baseball, as he breaks his bat on a ground ball into the shift. And Peraza cleans it up. Another close play at first. And Evaldi's through 5 scoreless. Orioles still looking for a run. Cooking week.
This is Jenny Press, the Oriole team chef, and this week we're introducing fun and nutritious kid-friendly recipes in the Digital Kids Corner. I hope you enjoy.
Banana boat, zucchini pizza bites, chocolate chip cookies, pinwheels, some cinnamon French toast there, and more. I would want to check these out. Orioles.com/Digital Kids Corner. Those are the zucchini pizza bites.
Yeah.
Those look awesome.
I'm all about the French toast too.
Yeah. I've been making a lot of zucchini bread recently, and while that's always great, I could use some new zucchini recipes. So zucchini pizza bites sound fantastic. Appreciate the Orioles with their Digital Kids Corner this year. Of course, you can't have anybody at Kids Corner of the Park, but we can bring some of the fun at Camden Yards to you. And by the way, if anybody does try to make some cinnamon French toast or zucchini pizza bites, we'll send you the address for the home television press booth at Camden Yards. We'll be happy to have them delivered. Dylan Tate, an inning and a third in relief, still out there, and throwing to Kevin Pillar. 1-2. Remember, Monday night, Tate was good for an inning and a third, and then gave up a 2-run home run in the 9th. His 3rd inning. Check swing here, and Pillar did go. Now that should be. Well, the count apparently was 2-1 beforehand. Now it's 2-2. All right, now he's done. That's enough strikes. Kevin Pillar goes down.
Boy, I tell you, Dylan Tate, a good two-seam fastball to get ahead, and watch this slider. There's the dot right on the backside, and some good depth to it as it breaks almost straight down. Not your typical slider that goes horizontal and vertical. This one more or less just sits straight down.
I think that first missed bunt was actually ruled a ball. That was the temporary confusion on the count there. Tate gets his man, and now ball 1 to Bradley. What's the next step for Dylan Tate?
I just think consistency. I mean, if you look at his stuff, you like his stuff. And what I mean by consistency, there's a difference between throwing a strike and throwing a quality strike. And sometimes he gets out over the plate a little bit too much when he doesn't need to. But it's all about being able to duplicate your mechanics. If you look at, what he does on the mound and what he brings to the table, it is certainly good enough to consistently get big league hitters out. Now, how do you get to that point? Some would say it's experience. Being able to relax at the big league level. Make your pitches. But you don't question the arm strength. The arm strength is there. The movement on the fastball is there. He's showing you a really good changeup. See the movement on that fastball. That ball starts right in the middle of the zone, and it has that good running action. It catches just the outside corner.
Former 4th overall pick, Jackie Bradley Jr., another high draft pick, takes ball 4. Bradley is on for the 2nd time. And 1-on-1 out for Jose Peraza. Nothing doing yet in the Orioles bullpen. Tate has thrown 35 pitches. Only other Orioles reliever on more than a day of rest tonight. That's Jorge Lopez. And I'm sure Brandon Hyde would like to shy away from Lopez. John Means starting tomorrow. John Means was only supposed to throw 2 innings, he told us after the game Sunday, so we don't know how stretched out he'll be tomorrow. So Brandon Hyde could piggyback means if he only gets 3 or 4 because of the schedule with Lopez, that's probably an ideal world for him.
Yeah, I agree. But it's so difficult, and that's why, you know, as a starting pitcher, you're counted on to chew up some innings. And there's a lot of value in those guys that do that, you know. Even with a decently high ERA, if you can go out and throw 6 innings every time out, you may not win that game, but you could win the next one because you save some guys in your bullpen, and that's what's so important about it.
Well, this is a year, Ben, where batting averages are around their lowest mark since 1968, the famous year of the pitcher, and yet we're seeing starting pitchers continue to struggle to get through 5 league-wide. And at some point, I know it's still early yet, but at some point you figure that will compound on teams, and you will see bullpens start to wear down more and more as we get into this season's version of the stretch run.
Yeah, especially late in the year. You're right. And it's not going to be as magnified again because we have a shortened season. But you think about it, you go to a regular season and that trend continues in the next year and you play 162, you're going to see some bullpens in some bad shape. But it's kind of where you're going now. It's max effort for your starters. And starters are being told in some cases, hey, if you give me 4 or 5 max effort, go do it and we'll take care of it from there. But it's going to be tough. So you're going to see some starters and you're going to see revolving doors in that bullpen. I think guys are getting called up from the minor leagues because, you know, you're going to wear certain guys out. They're going to have to spend some time on the IL at times. They're going to run out of stuff. They'll get tired arms. They'll get sit down and you'll bring more middle to late guys up.
Tate a little concerned with Bradley over at first. Do you think that will change, or is that just one of those things that, like the three-pointer in the NBA, is just here to stay, whether we like it or not?
No, I think it's going to change. I think there's going to be a big value put back on real horses, guys that can chew up innings. You know, and you don't have to have 5 of them. I mean, that would be ideal if you had 5 guys. But, you know, to me, you need 2 or 3 guys that can at least do that for you.
Late break, Valleca, and he's there to make the catch. 2 down. Orioles fans, bring a piece of Birdland home with our Pepsi Piece of the Game sweepstakes. Enter by Sunday, September 27th for your chance to win a game-used baseball from the 2020 Orioles home game. Maybe that baseball. No purchase necessary. Learn more and enter now at Orioles.com/piece of the game. Enter now. You can win a game-used pink highlighter used by Ben McDonald.
Got one right here.
There you go. I just put that up for auction. I hope you're okay with that.
Yeah, I got a spare.
Okay, good. Alex Verdugo single in the 4th inning. RBI ground out back in the 2nd. He was the big piece in the Mookie Betts trade.
There's a lot of trends going on right now that I don't know if we're going to be quite there, you know, 3 or 4 years from now.
What else do you think?
You know, trying to get the ball in the air so much, right? I mean, it has its place. It hits home runs. We're striking out more, but we're hitting more home runs. But again, I think the value in a hitter is a guy that can hit for average 2 and can still blow some balls out of the ballpark. You know, the Orioles have done a pretty good job this year not striking out so much. I think that it's led to a lot of more balls put in play, which leads them to the highest batting average as a team in the American League. You know, and so I think there's always going to be the guys that, you know, they're going to be there to bang the ball out of the ballpark. I agree with that. But I think you're going to see some other guys begin to have 2-strike approaches because we don't see a whole lot of 2-strike approaches anymore like we did, say, 10 or 15 years ago where a guy actually shortened up on the bat a good bit and he wanted to serve a ball the other way, just trying to put a ball in play. It seems to be the same swing for a lot of guys, no matter what the situation is.
Well, you've started to see some of this. You know, the Astros the last couple of years, there's been so much talk about the way they've developed their roster, but they did not strike out much last year. They were not just an all or nothing power team. Springer and Bregman and some of the Astros best hitters have worked on that particular tool. And if you go back a few years, as Verdugo checks his swing 3-0, and he apparently did go. Think about the 2015 Kansas City Royals and how much contact they made. Well, if you can add power to that,
sure,
that becomes a fearsome beast, and that was the Houston lineup last year.
It's all about putting pressure on defenses and putting pressure on pitchers. And you don't mind, as a pitcher, you don't mind facing a team that punches out a lot. Because I know if I make my pitches, it's the guys that serve the ball the other way, that inside out the ball, that really have a different approach, are the ones that scare you.
3-2 now for Verdugo. And we just saw Travis Lakins, the former Red Sox, warming in the bullpen. By the way, I know technically that's the former Red Sox Lakins, but I just reject that here and now. I just want you to be aware of that. That can't be a singular. It can't be a singular noun. It can't be a Red Sox. Not a former Orioles. That is a called strike 3. Delayed punch out from Will Little. Down goes Verdugo. Our Geico Do-Ups. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Part of the order. Do-Up for the O's. Orioles Baseball Unmasked is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Big heart and low fares. Book now at southwest.com. Bottom of the 6th inning. Red Sox with a lead. Kevin Brown, Ben McDonald. I'm not that Kevin Brown. He is that Ben McDonald, though. Just somebody out there is wondering. I know somebody's always wondering. Kevin Brown. No, my sinker wasn't very good.
I played 1 year with Kevin Brown, and he was a different dude.
Nice way of putting it. Here's Nunez, and he is nearly hit.
You know, most guys have a bad outing, and they may, come up the tunnel and maybe throw your glove or dump over the trash can. I saw Kevin Brown here at this ballpark, with a true story, go into the clubhouse, rip his jersey off, his pants, his cleat, put his glove and his hat there, all in one pile. I asked the clubhouse guy for some lighter fluid, and I was telling Butch, don't do it, because I wasn't in the game.
Oh,
I was like, and he gave it to him, and he threw a match on it and caught it on fire right in the middle of the clubhouse. That's how mad he was at his equipment. Just burn it.
Nunez with a high fly ball. Verdugo. One away. I have seen a team hold a ceremonial bonfire, at the end of a losing streak or trying to end a losing streak. I've seen a bonfire out behind the stands. Everybody has to throw one thing into the bonfire. I had to throw in a media guide, but I've never seen nor heard of anyone just taking the jersey, the hat, the glove, and just saying,
if KB got knocked out of the game, you didn't get anywhere around him. You let him go up to the tunnel in the clubhouse. I followed him up because I knew something special was going to happen. I didn't think it was going to be that.
How appropriately voyeuristic of you in that moment. Did it all catch, by the way? Did the glove?
It caught on fire, and of course the clubhouse guy came over and they put it out right away, so the water, the sprinklers, the fire sprinklers don't start going off and all that kind of stuff. But it caught on fire. It was a blaze. You could have roasted a marshmallow.
Do you remember how he pitched in his next start?
I don't. But at that time he was pitching pretty good. He didn't have many bad outings in his career. Pretty doggone good career.
One of the maybe more underrated careers of the last couple of decades. Pedro Severino grounds this quick pitch to second, and Nathan Eovaldi is cruising through. Now 5 2/3 scoreless. Severino's 0 for 3. Nunez is 1 for 3 with a single. Santander's 1 for 3 with a single, and that's 9 groundouts now induced by Nathan Eovaldi.
He's rode the fastball up in the zone for some swings and some misses. But he's got a lot of outs with those off-speed pitches because he's kept those down and created a lot of ground balls, as you mentioned.
Rio Ruiz has walked and grounded out. Everybody in the Orioles lineup has grounded out except for Mullins, who has struck out once, Smith, who has struck out twice, and Nunez, who struck out and flied out. And it is ball 2 to Rio. Vasquez didn't like it, but it looked like it missed.
Eovaldi's not lost anything on the fastball. That one at 98, just missed by about a ball off the outside corner. We'll see if he gives in 3-0 lead, if he even throws a fastball here 2-0.
Well, he did, and
that could have been a strike, and it wasn't called. Yeah.
You said in the first you might think about greenlighting Rio 3-0. You think about it again here?
I don't know. Now that you're down by 3, you point now you need base runners, and then maybe the big blow.
And Will Little giveth and Will Little taketh away.
Yeah, so the one before that I thought was a better pitch, center part of the plate and down. This one Just kind of yanked more toward the inside corner, but gets the call there.
3-1. Rio was hunting. Just got a piece. Strike 2 on the cutter.
Yep, and that's what Evaldi's been able to do. He hadn't been behind very often tonight, but when he's gotten behind, he's been able to pitch backwards. And he's been able to spin something up there other than the fastball. Get to 3-0 fastball. You think you're getting it again 3-1, but instead he cuts it just a little bit.
Payoff pitch. Rio Ruiz here in the 6th inning. On a couple of hops to second. Peraza from a knee. It's a 1-2-3 6th inning. Sox by 3. We're 2/3 of the way home.
Playing this season during a pandemic. Earlier today, Orioles head athletic trainer Brian Ebel was asked how Orioles players are adjusting to their new environment.
Just from the minute they arrived from summer camp, I think everyone was kind of, wondering what this is going to look like, what's going to happen. And they were comfortable from the start. I think they saw the mitigation strategies that we were using here, and they became comfortable pretty quickly. And I'm just really proud of them, of kind of the job they've done. They've really bought in to what we're trying to do here and what we're doing here to minimize the risk in this environment. And they've been really comfortable. And, the message here to them has just been, look, we've got to continue to keep moving on this and to keep it up. We don't want any letdowns. Even though things have been going great, we've got to keep our foot on the gas and just to make sure we're continuing to do these mitigation strategies.
That's Brian Ebel, who oversees the protocols. Important to point out that the Orioles organization has gone above and beyond in a variety of ways, including less essential Tier 3 personnel like us that are getting tested regularly. Kevin?
Brett got my weekly test today.
Me too.
That's me 3. I evidently have a low spin rate, saliva rate, because it takes me a while to fill it up.
It's just a low spit rate.
That's what it is. I don't know what it is, but I just can't do it.
Man,
I set the record the other day. Lady told me, well, you're in first place, 32 minutes.
32 minutes?
Yes, it was terrible. I was like, I'm just begging for the nose swab. I was like, I don't care if it touches the brain or not, just give it to me. It might even help.
Travis Lakins is in the game. Meanwhile, I thought it was just me. I was about 15 minutes last week, and I thought that was painful.
I'm terrible.
I got it down to about 8 today. Ball and 2 strikes. Lakins, the former Red Sox to Rafael Devers. But Dylan Tate was very good today. 2 1/3 innings. He stranded a couple of runners in the 4th.
No, he was really good. Yeah. I mean, showed you a good fastball, a good changeup, and a good breaking ball as well. Punched out 3, walked 1.
Devers fouls it away.
Just got a text from Rick Sutcliffe. Everybody remembers
Sut.
Threw the first pitch in this ballpark, threw the first shutout, got the first win here many years ago back in '92. But he's watching the game with his grandson Ryder, who is an Orioles fan.
Fantastic.
And Ryder's saying the Orioles need 4, and yes, we do.
Yes. Well, thanks for your support, Ryder. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Hope we'll get you 4. Nice play. Velasquez sprawling to his left, and Devers is extinguished.
Well, I tell you, Andrew Velasquez is like a little water bug out there. That's what I call it. Not a big guy at all, but he gets great reads and great jumps, and he swung over in the pull position. And watch this. Lays out to the forehand side, makes an outstanding play, and robs Rafael Devers. Devers not real happy about that.
Been that kind of a season for Devers. It's 1 for 4 tonight. JD Martinez. A little bit low from Lakins. Last time we saw Travis Lakins Tuesday night against Toronto, he did struggle. Gave up 2 hits, 2 walks, a couple of earned runs in 2/3 of an inning. Travis Shaw hit a 3-run home run against him as Lakins came in with the bases loaded.
Yeah, Lakins normally has outstanding control. Good stuff, good control. But the other night he didn't. Got behind too often and paid for it.
See a lot of cutters with Lakins, four-seamer curve and the occasional change. Pretty similar to Eovaldi. A lot of cut fastballs, high spin rate curve. Made his big league debut with the Red Sox last year. Orioles claimed him off waivers. Another one of these waiver wire claims who've made up a bulk of this Orioles success this year. Severino in a split here, ready for a 2-2, and he got it low and away. Three-two. Got him swinging. Good curveball for Lakins on 3-2. And it's the Orioles' 8th strikeout of the night.
Well, you don't see that kind of swing from J.D. Martinez very often. Been one of the best hitters in baseball for some time, but he wasn't expecting that one, and that's a good one. Really good curveball. Starts at kind of middle part of the plate. By the time it travels that 60 feet 6 inches, it is well off the outside corner. And there you go. Spin rate 2,800. See what the big league average is at 2,500, and that's why you saw the depth on that ball that you did.
And again, I know that's a little wonky. That's still a little bit new to some, the spin rate and the high RPMs, but if you think about it from a visual sense, I mean, you could see the revolution over revolution of the baseball there. That was a heavy curve. And J.D. Martinez doesn't often look
not like that
befuddled. Bogarts has homered in the game, 2 for 3, and Lakins is ahead 0-2.
There's so many interesting things out there for pitchers now that I wish would have been around, you know, during our time. Whether your two-seam fastball really gets the action and good enough to get guys out, the four-seamer, changing the grip a little bit on your breaking ball and being able to get, you know, instant feedback on it. So you can turn around right away off the computer and see what kind of revolutions you get, and then you can kind of change your grip a little bit, move a thumb or a finger a little bit, throw it again. Yeah, that's the one you want. That had better action, and they can show it to you. And so pitchers can now see the results. In other words, they can see the results they're getting and they can go apply it. And I think if you know you have a high spin rate fastball or a high spin rate breaking ball, it just gives you a little more confidence to get on the bump, to know that I have something a little bit more than what most people, you know, don't have, and it gives me more confidence to get hitters out with.
Well, very small sample size, but the league has a big swing and miss rate against this curveball. There it is again. More than 70% swing and miss rate early on against the Lakins curve. And he's only thrown a few, but the league has not hit many.
So with a spin rate like that being that much above the big league average, that could be a pitch you could use a little more.
That fastball guided to right. Santander's on the case. Vallecas, Smith, and Mullins coming up bottom 7. The O's trying to get on the board. The 7th inning has been the get-you inning for the Orioles this year. They've outscored the opposition 20-4 in the 7th. Can they find some late magic tonight? Kevin Brown, Ben McDonald with you from Camden Yards, where the Orioles have found very little magic against Nathan Eovaldi. He loaded the bases in the 1st inning. Pat Valleca grounded out with 2 outs. Since that point, they have put 2 runners on base. A bunt single from Cedric Mullins in the 2nd, an infield single from Hanser Alberto in the 5th.
Yeah, it's been tough sledding. And Eovaldi's just been spot on, just like he was opening day. Don't forget, he threw against the Orioles opening day, 6 innings, only gave up 1 run on 5 hits, punched out 4. He's filled his own up pretty good tonight. 81 pitches, 53 strikes.
Last 10 games, Ben, the Red Sox starting pitching ERA combined 9.45. 1-9 in those 10. 2-1 for Valaika.
You'd never know it tonight, though.
Former UCLA Bruin Valaika with a fly ball, last to right center. Bradley on the case. Bradley at the wall. It is gone. Pat Valaika punches one the other way, and the Orioles score in the 7th again as Valaika breaks the shutout.
Well, that's one way to get that party started. 7th inning. You mentioned a little 7th inning magic. That's his 3rd home run of the year. That one straight away center field, kind of slicing out toward the right center field gap. Looked like Eovaldi tried to get another fastball. He got a fastball by him for strike 1. No, that was a nothing. That was almost a nothing breaking ball. That's that hard cutter, and this one just left right in the middle of the plate. And Eovaldi has not left many there, and that's a really good swing by Pat Valaika.
3rd home run for Valaika. With that home run, Shirley Wright, Suitland, Maryland. Jit Appretti from Edgewood, Maryland. Another home run, $500 more for our Maryland Lottery home run winners. And the Orioles right back in this game. We've seen it happen several times this year. A game the Orioles seem like they're out of. They seem dead in the water. Think about the Max Scherzer game on Sunday where they came back to tie it. Before that, the Saturday game against the Nationals a couple of weeks ago where Valaika's home run brought the Orioles to within 3-1 in the 8th inning in that game. The Orioles scored 5 runs in the 8th on Severino and Santander home runs.
That's what makes this team so much fun to watch, right? They never give up. They just feel like they're never out of it. And you're right. So many times this year they've come from behind to get back in ball games. And they've done it against some good arms, too. Some really good arms.
Smith has struck out twice. Good take on the breaking ball. 2-2. Pat Valaika with the Orioles' 36th home run. Their 90th extra base hit of the season came into today, 1 off the Dodgers for the major league lead in extra base hits. It's fouled back our way.
Yeah, the offense has been special. You know, and again, you wondered where it would come from. You know, Trey Mancini being out, Jonathan VR got traded. He had huge numbers last year, so you started to wonder, where would the offense come from? You thought the offense would be okay. I don't think anybody thought it would be as good as it has been.
Smith the other way and left. Verdugo is there for the first out. Introducing Quick Pick, MLB Rally's new predictive game that offers fans the opportunity to pick outcomes and compete for cash prizes. Make your predictions count. Play Quick Pick. No purchase necessary. 21 plus to compete. Restrictions apply. See official rules and enter at MLB.com/quickpick. Ryan Brazier is up in the Red Sox bullpen. It has been a struggle of a season for Brazier, for the Sox bullpen. So the Orioles would very much like to get into the Sox relievers. Thank you. Cedric Mullins laid down a bunt base hit in the 2nd. 6 for his last 13.
Yeah, you can see the 3rd baseman, Rafael Devers. He's a little bit closer to home plate than what he was the last time. See Mullins hitting off right-handers, 316.
Brandon Hyde has said with Austin Hayes out, he's going to put Mullins and Velasquez in the center depending on matchups. Velasquez has started short tonight, but you want to have Mullins in there the way he's swinging, particularly against a right-hander.
Yeah, I like Cedric Mullins. I always have. Well, this fastball gets right in on the hands and it fouls it back off of Vasquez. I don't know that Cedric Mullins is an everyday outfielder of the future for the Orioles. I think he's going to be more of a 4th outfielder, because you got to think Mountcastle's coming at some point. Austin Hayes should be your center fielder, and you know, Trey Mancini hopefully back next year, which all indications say that he will be. But Mullins is certainly a guy that is very valuable. Guy that can play any 3 of the outfield spots. You can pinch run with him. Using the bunt. We already seen he's an outstanding bunter, sacrifice bunter, bunt for a base hit.
And Mullins goes down to the breaking ball. He'll run it out. And Vasquez will throw him out.
Well, these catchers that can do this right here are so valuable. Watch Vasquez go down and just smother this ball. Forward lean, just keeps it in front. Watch this. Breaking ball down. He goes down and just squares it up with that forward lean. Look how ball just stays right there in front of him. Clears the path. He's come out and throws Mullins out at first base. All of a sudden, since the home run hit by Valleca on that cut fastball, we haven't seen many of them. It's more of the overhand breaking ball.
By the way, since you mentioned it, I'm told at least one television in the Mancini household is on tonight. So
there you go.
Hey there, Trey.
Can't wait to see Trey back in the Oriole uniform.
On the ground right side, Mitch Moreland. And Eovaldi cleans up the inning after the leadoff blast from Pat Valleca. There will be no shutout tonight at Camden Yards. Valleca makes sure of that. O's within a pair. The mighty TBD for Boston. Our coverage on Massam begins at 7 with O's Extra. Rob Long, Mike Bordick will be there. Presented by PNC Bank, followed by our game coverage at 7:30. All the access you need right here on Mass. And hey, speaking of our guy Trey Mancini, fight F16HT. Those T-shirts which have become such a hit with the folks around here, as Trey battles back from colorectal cancer. And we found out today, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, that our Cal Ripken Jr. battled prostate cancer in February. Revealed that to the media today. Said he was treated. He is now cancer free. And he toyed with the idea, he said, of not telling anybody. Obviously, he didn't make it public for about 6 months, but he wanted to encourage folks to get regular checkups, regular physicals. Said the first thing he did was he called his brother Billy and said, "Did you get your physical?" And Billy said, "Yes, I'm on top of it." So the moral of the story here is, even if you feel healthy, even if you think you're healthy, if it can happen to somebody who's in the shape that Cal is, Trey Mancini, it can happen to any one of us. Get checkups, get physicals, stay on top of your health.
And of course, the Iron Man being the Iron Man had surgery that morning.
It's
just
amazing,
walked
isn't it?
out of the hospital that afternoon like nothing happened. That's the Iron Man.
And does it surprise you? Not one lick.
No. That guy was amazing.
Travis Lakin's second inning out of the Orioles bullpen, trying to keep this a 3-1 game after the Valleca home run in the home 7th. And he's behind Mitch Moreland 3-1.
Well, the relievers for the Orioles have done exactly what they needed to do. Throw up some zeros. Red Sox scored 2 in the second, 1 in the third, and it's been 4 consecutive zeros and given this offense an opportunity to climb back in it.
It's ball 4 to Moreland. A leadoff walk is not what Brandon Hyde wants to see here in the 8th. Third walk handed out by Orioles pitching. There's Eovaldi, who looks to be done after 7.
If he's giving fist bumps, he's out. If they're talking to him like they are right now, he appears to be out of the ball game.
By the way, if you just tuned in, you're not watching Masson Classic. A starting pitcher really did work through 7 innings. Well, that's a blue moon sight in 2020, but Eovaldi was terrific. Now the question is, can the Red Sox get the final 6 outs with a battered and beleaguered bullpen?
Well, their bullpen not as bad as their starters ERA-wise, right? 6.89 for the starters, but 5.71 for the relievers, which is only 14th best out of 15 teams.
It's a well-guided ground ball by Vasquez into center field. And the Red Sox have 2 runners on. Moreland to second for Kevin Pillar.
Well, not the start the Orioles wanted here after scoring 1 in the bottom of the 7th. You're right. This is just a routine ground ball almost right back up the middle. But the shortstop, Velasquez, was shaded more towards the hole, more towards third base. And if you're in your typical double play depth, what it used to be, that's an easy 6-4-3 double play. But instead, you're going to see Tanner Scott starting to get up, and Doug Brocail, the pitching coach, is out to have a word with Travis Lakins.
Lakins a clean 7th. Has walked Moreland on a ground ball single to Vasquez. How much of this is just buying time for a potential Scott Bradley matchup?
I'd say it's 50-50.
Okay.
You know, it's a talk about how we want to attack the next hitter. Kind of hit the reset button. Get Lakins back where he needs to be, which is down in the strike zone, flipping that breaking ball in there, trying to get a ground ball double play. That's the talk. If you get 2 strikes, then you'll think strikeout. But also a slow walk out there, a slow walk back to make sure Tanner Scott's getting as many reps as he needs to get ready.
He looks ready out there. Tanner Scott slow down his throwing.
Yeah, it doesn't take him long. He's one of those guys that seems like in 7 pitches he's up to 100. I don't know how you do that.
Orioles are ready for a bunt, and time is called. If the Red Sox are going to bunt here, they're basically bunting themselves into a Scott Bradley matchup. I know 2nd and 3rd one out, but that's not a matchup that might be favorable for Boston. And they're not going to bunt. Pillar with a weak ground ball to 3rd, and they basically bunted.
That's how it ended up being anyway. It worked out. Couldn't have bunted one any better than that. 1st and 2nd, Joe Love draw that third baseman in, make him come make the play, and this is a swinging bunt, and Rio Ruiz has to come in and get it across the diamond. He goes. So the Red Sox 2nd and 3rd now. And 1 out. Here's your play. Rio reads it. The only play he's got is across the diamond, and Brandon Hyde is out now. And we're about to see Tanner Scott.
So it's no sacrifice, just a simple ground ball from Pillar, but he gets the job done, and here comes Tanner.
In the top of the 8th inning, and Brandon Hyde has turned to his young left-hander out of his bullpen, Tanner Scott, who's just been so dominant this year. He has not allowed an earned run in 8 2/3 innings. Just a dramatic improvement for Tanner. And I had a chance to talk to his bullpen mate, Sean Armstrong, a few days ago, who says Tanner's stuff might make him the best left-handed reliever right now in the American League. He has a chance, Armstrong added, to get big outs for the Orioles for many, many years to come. It's hard to believe, Kevin and Ben, that it was just a few years ago Scott was averaging nearly a walk an inning in the minor leagues. He has taken a big jump here in 2020.
Yeah, I'd say he has. He's taken a giant leap is what he's done. The numbers are unbelievable so far this year. There they are. Worked in 9 games. Does not have an ERA. 8 2/3. 1 hit allowed. 13 punch outs and 4 walks. Opponents hitting .038 on the left-hander Tanner Scott.
And how about this? 10 inherited runners, 10 stranded, one of 3 in the majors to do that. The infield is in for Bradley, and he takes ball 1.
Well, here's the StatCast against left-handers. That slider has been devastating for him. Look at that. 6 outs. He loves to bury it down and in, down and away from the left-hander. 35 inches of vertical break on that slider. So when he gets ahead and can get to that breaking ball, it has been devastating.
Bradley threw a fastball 97. Well, the league is 0 for 11 against Scott. Runners in scoring position. Lefties are 1 for 16. Inherited runners have been stranded at a 10 for 10 rate.
We talk about the consistency, right? Can you duplicate? Can you do it again?
On the ground to 3rd, Ruiz will go to 1st after a look of the runner Moreland and get the 2nd out.
Boy, I love the play by Rio Ruiz there. The internal clock of an infielder is so important. How much time do you have? So he feels the ball. He thinks he's got a chance, but he chases him back to the bag and still knows, although Jackie Bradley Jr. can really get down the line, watch this jab step back to the bag. You push the runner back to the bag, but you still know where you're going to get that out and across the diamond with a strong, accurate throw for a huge second out here in the top of the 8th.
Maybe a couple of years ago for Rio, or maybe, you know, more inexperienced third baseman in general, just picks up that ball and fires to the plate.
Yeah, and the run comes home.
And then the run comes home.
But he knew how much time he had, and that's what's so important. And again, that comes from experience and the reps of being out there. And Rio, you know, he had an error the other day, and, you know, late in the ball game, everybody said, well, it cost the Orioles, you know, the game, and maybe it did at that particular time. But there were a lot of other things that could have happened. But since he's came back from missing those games, the defense over at third base and the decision making has been outstanding, just outstanding. And he worked so hard on that in the offseason.
The other potential outcome, if you throw home there, is Moreland scrambles back to third because nobody's there to cover, and then Bradley reaches and the bases are loaded. So that was a high wire act for Ruiz.
Yep. But it's all the plays that an infielder will go through in his mind before the pitch even goes to the plate. So he knew exactly what he was going to do depending on what ball that he got.
Now it's up to Peraza. 1 for 3 in the game. And a swing and a miss. High fastball. Tanner Scott at 97.
And that's what makes the slider so good for Tanner Scott. You got to gear up to hit an upper 90s fastball. You got to get your foot down and you got to be going to get it, to even catch up to it. And when he spins the breaking ball in there, it's tough.
Nice play by Severino. That one was nearly backstop bound.
Yeah, trying to come inside with a fastball. Severino set up on the inside part of the play. He wants the heater in, but look where it is, way up and away.
Strike 2. This is a 2-run game with the Red Sox about to turn to their bullpen. And Alberto, Santander, and Nunez coming up in the bottom of the 8th. Not to put any more pressure on Tanner Scott, but he hasn't minded it. 1-2. And Peraza gets a piece.
He is still trying to get that fastball on the inside part of the plate. Has not been able to get it there yet. But that's what velocity can do for you. You can miss some spots along the way and still get away with it, and that's what Tanner Scott's doing here. I like the pitch selection. If he ever gets a ball to the inside corner, I think you're going to get strike 3. Probably looking if he can get it there, but you wonder when he's going to come with the breaking ball after 3 fastballs.
Oh, he missed again with a setup inside from Severino.
Well, you sped the bat up 3 or 4 times with fastballs here. But if you can't find the fastball, almost the same window, now you think, well, okay, let's try the breaking ball. But he's still trying to get something inside. Here we go again, a little lower target.
On the ground is short. Velasquez sucks it up on to first. Inning over. Tanner Scott does the job. What else is new?
It's time for the Miller Lite Hold True moment. And here it is. Anthony Santander in the first inning goes up the ladder with 2 on and robs an extra base hit to get the Orioles off the field. And Asher Wojciechowski certainly appreciates that effort. And there's Nathan Eovaldi and what he did on that. He was outstanding. 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 run. It was earned, a solo home run, walked 1, punched out 6, 97 pitches, and a high percentage of strikes, 64 strikes. He's going to give way to Ryan Brazier. Brazier's had 9 appearances, 1 start, An elevated ERA, 8 innings pitched, 11 hits. He's punched out 9 along the way with 5 walks.
So for Eovaldi, 97 pitches, 64 strikes, a terrific ratio. Brazier has had a little bit more trouble throwing strikes. The 5 walks in 8 innings. He begins with Alberto and begins with a strike. Red Sox bullpen has been a major weakness this year. Brazier has thrown in 9 games. Twice he's given up 3 runs in an inning. Another time he's given up a run. Been scored upon in 3 out of 9. Alberto 1 for 3. Santander on deck, and Alberto lobs one to short. So Santander will come up not as the tying run, but with 1 out, the Orioles down 2.
That's what you're going to see a lot of from Ryan Brazier. Hard slider, cut fastball, whatever you want to call it. It's a hard breaking ball. He'll show you a few fastballs, but he likes to get the righties out, especially with that breaking ball.
Santander doesn't have an extra base hit, which is rather unusual these days. Now a 15-game hit streak. He singled in the first. He has popped out, grounded out. And he's right on that first pitch, but fouls it to the screen. Lefty Josh Taylor, who recently returned from a bout with COVID-19, is up in the Red Sox bullpen. Remember, new 3-batter minimum rule this year. Brazier has to face Santander, has to face Nunez too. Swing and a miss, strike 2.
Well, Brazier gets ahead and he rides a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Look at this, just up out of the zone, hoping to get a swing and a miss, and he does.
Fastballs high, breaking balls low. Those can be the chase zones for Anthony.
That's the ticket if you can execute it.
And that was a very good breaking ball. Actually, a changeup down and
yeah,
away.
I think say, or you can take a changeup at 88 and run it right off the outside corner. So his breaking ball going down and into a lefty. Watch this action. This ball goes down and away from the left-hander. So after 2 really good fastballs, mid-90s, takes about 7 miles an hour off and runs it just off the outside corner. You can't do it any better than that. 0-2 count. You started in the zone. It looks like a strike as it travels towards home plate, but that late action clearly brought it a good bit off the plate.
Boy, when's the last time somebody's made Santander look that twisted?
That was some big-time stuff there.
Renato Nunez with the first pitch taken, strike 1.
This certainly doesn't look like a guy with an elevated ERA. Everything's on the corner. It's high octane. Just coming right at you. Watch Brazier's head when he takes the sign from the catcher. As he gets the sign from Vasquez, the catcher, he's got a hard lean with his head. There we go. He's kind of crooked over a little bit. A little unusual. Get a crick in your neck pretty quick.
Doesn't look comfortable.
It's working for him right now.
Yeah, it doesn't look comfortable, but I don't throw 96, so who am I to say? Nunez singled to right field in the first, struck out looking in the third, flied out to left field in the 6th. Orioles have not put a lot of balls in the air tonight. Could take on the breaking ball 2-2.
Yeah, hits have been hard to come by for the Orioles. 24 games, double-digit hits, 12 out of 24 games, but only halfway there so far tonight.
4 singles all on the ground, plus the Vallejo home run. Nunez hangs in there on a breaking ball. That was a little more center cut than Brazier may have wanted it.
Renato would love to have that swing back. That's the kind of breaking ball that normally goes a long way.
Last home run 13 days ago for Nunez. Spoils this one foul.
Renato is as streaky as they come with hitting the long ball. He didn't have one going into the month of August, and all of a sudden he hit 5 really quick. But since then, as you mentioned, it's been hard to come by.
Why do you think he's so streaky?
I don't know. He really gets locked in. We see it with a lot of players. They really get locked in. Now, he's been getting his share of base hits, and that's why the average is where it's at. But the home runs have been hard to come by as of late.
Strike 3 and a fastball. Brazier punches out 2. And the Red Sox will take a lead into the ninth. Orioles Baseball Unmasked is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Big heart and low fares. Book now at southwest.com. Top of the ninth inning. Orioles trying to jump back above 500 rather than fall below the even water mark. Actually, that's not a thing. Even water mark. I just made that up, didn't I?
Sounded good.
Yes. I delivered it with conviction, but who am I kidding?
Even water mark.
Yeah. What does that even mean? Water is even. Water is odd as a concept. That's Ben McDonald. I'm Kevin Brown. 3-1 is the Boston lead. And Tanner Scott starts Alex Verdugo with a strike. Miguel Castro is up in the Orioles bullpen, but Scott will at least face the first 2 in this inning, you figure. Verdugo and then Rafael Devers. Orioles bullpen has been excellent tonight. That's strike 2. Red Sox got 2 in the second. Vasquez a fly ball single that settled in. Started the inning. Kevin Pillar walked. Jose Peraza dunked a single into center to score a run. Verdugo grounded out to second to bring in another. There's Miguel Castro. And the Red Sox closer Brandon Workman. Xander Bogaerts' home run in the third made it 3-0. Pat Valleca's home run in the seventh, 3-1. That's where we are. Well, if you lay off that slider, you've got a good eye.
Fixing to say, you seeing it pretty good, and clearly Alex Verdugo has been seeing it pretty good as of late.
Must be the eye black with the Red Sox logo that gives him magical powers of vision. And he took another one. We're just not used to seeing anybody take that against Tanner Scott these days.
Especially with 2 strikes. I mean,
Yeah.
you throw 2 that close to the zone, so either he's really lucky and guessing, or he's seeing it that good.
This may be about as good an at-bat you're going to see a lefty have against Tanner Scott. The way he's throwing this year. And he still might get out.
Well, it's been a big-time turnaround, something that the Orioles have hoped for a couple years from Tanner Scott.
That is a little bit low. And a leadoff walk for Verdugo. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Baltimore Orioles. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. So Rafael Devers will bat 1 for 4 in the game. Verdugo fixes the oven mitt to his right hand. A base sliding aid. Does have a couple of steals this year and 2 tries. Inside to Devers. Brett mentioned it last inning, the walk-in inning that Tanner Scott once averaged in minor leagues. This has always been the issue with him. It's been better this year, the walks, but this is always the one thing that can get Tanner Scott out of whack.
Yes, and you know, last year he flashed this brilliance at times. We would see an outing or maybe a couple of batters in an outing where he would show you what he's done this year. But then the command would go away. But I think changing the mechanics that he did, and Doug Brocail is responsible for that in a lot of ways. They got him away from the high leg kick. If you watch him, he just lightly picks up that front leg and goes towards home plate. And he just feels like that gives him a better opportunity.
That's sprayed into center by Devers. And this is just a whale of an inning for the Red Sox, who had 2 lefties against Scott. Both reach base. And Brandon Hyde is out of the dugout quickly.
Yeah, the Verdugo at bat for me is the most impressive. This is just kind of a inside out swing, a nothing swing, and lobs another one out there for the Red Sox. But I think it was Verdugo that was responsible for this. So now you get a walk and a base hit.
Here comes Castro to face Martinez and Bogarts.
Situation. It's Miguel Castro's turn now as he comes into the ball game with first and second and nobody out. Worked in 11 games, 3.2 ERA, 11 innings of work. He's punched out 17 in that time. Only walked 4 opponents, hitting .273 off the big right-hander Miguel Castro.
Well, it was Dylan Tate who stranded 2 in the 4th to save Asher Wojciechowski's bacon. Then Scott to strand 2 in the 8th against Lakin. So inheriting runners and not allowing them to score. That's been the name of the game for Orioles relievers tonight. They've done so at a good clip this season.
Well, the one thing you know is J.D. Martinez is not going to be bunting first and second.
He is not. And that's strike 1.
You can play your infield back, play him at double play depth. Try to create that ground ball if you can. See the numbers on JD this year, 233, only 2 homers and 12 RBIs. Compared to last year's number where he hit 36 home runs, drove in 105.
Wonder how much longer we're going to see him in a Red Sox uniform if the team continues at this pace. Maybe a trade candidate.
Could be, but that's a big contract.
It is.
That's a big contract on an aging player. But boy, you go back and look the last 4 or 5 years in baseball, not many have been better.
Yeah, since he signed with the Red Sox 2008 and it was the most RBIs in baseball. 0 for 4 tonight. And a terrific pick by Severino on what could have easily been a wild pitch.
I don't even know how he caught this ball. And that's, you know, not only the batting has been better, the offense has been a lot better. I think the defense for Pedro Severino, you got to remember last year and really limited, you know, not catching every day, had a lot of pass balls, a lot of wild pitches got by him. But this year it's been better.
Verdugo and Devers are the runners. And Martinez hits one in the air, foul, strike 2.
Boy, Martinez upset with himself. He got it in the plus count. He got it in the hitter's count 2-1. He knew he was getting the fastball. He got one he could handle pretty good, but just a little bit tardy. But that's what Miguel Castro does to you with an upper 90s fastball.
Hoping for a strikeout or double play with nobody out here in the ninth. And we'll do it again. Is that another right on right changeup?
92, that's what it is. That's another part of this change in this game. You know, we don't remember a time where we ever tried to throw inside, arm side changeups. Miguel's got a good one, but I still think it's more effective if you can get on the outside part of the plate and down. Because if you throw it down and in, that's what happens. You get a foul ball. You can't keep it fair. You throw it down and away, you can get a ground ball.
That was down and away.
Way away.
So your theory was right. The execution just wasn't there. And what do you think in 3-2?
It's got to be a fastball in or another changeup away. Slider. 8th pitch at the at bat. Miguel's giving him a little bit of everything. The only thing he hadn't tried was an elevated fastball, but again, Miguel's a ground ball pitcher. He likes to keep it down in the zone, although it's high velocity, but he creates a lot of ground balls, and he'd love to get one here.
7 pitches. They have all been relatively low. What'll it be? 3-2. In the air, foul again. Nunez with a cursory look. Xander Bogaerts awaits for what will be his 3rd battle of the young season with Castro. On the ground to 3rd. Ruiz to 2nd. Alberto can't make the turn. Hard slide by Devers made sure of that. 1st and 3rd for the Red Sox, 1 out.
It was a hard slide, but again, I think if you're going to watch this, you're going to see Alberto not be able to get the ball out of his glove. Rio with a good feed, right? See the bobble right there? He can't get it from glove to throwing hand. And while it was a tough slide, just couldn't get it out. So that's twice tonight we've seen. It's not going to be an error on either one of them, because he got an out the first time it happened early in the ball game, but normally so sure-handed.
Now, Brandon Hyde went out and initiated a conversation with Will Little, and this may well be in regards to the slide. Was there an illegal slide here from Devers?
Well, Devers definitely went straight into the bag. The question is, does he interfere as he pops up? So he's straight in right there, but watch him.
Is the left hand right there? Is that enough? Certainly makes contact with the leg.
Yeah, he puts the left hand up. And they may call this. They may. But I still say it would have completed the double play. If Alberto can get this ball out of his glove into his throwing hand, he completes this double play.
Remember, the slide rule prohibits runners from attempting to initiate contact with the fielder by throwing his arm, among a couple of other different things. Is that a throw of the arm? Again, the call on the field was
judgment call.
It was
right?
a legal slide. You have to have indisputable evidence to say it was an illegal slide. Angel Hernandez, Will Little are on the horn to New York. What are we going to get? Same.
Well, it's worth a shot this late in the ball game, right? I mean, that'd be huge.
That seem fair to you?
I thought that was a clean slide. I really did. I didn't think there was enough contact there to warrant calling an automatic double play. And again, that's not the reason why Alberto didn't get it in his throwing hand with an attempt.
So here's Bogaerts, who's had a nice game, singled in the first, homered in the third. He and Castro had a couple of battles in the opening series of the year. They each won one.
Yeah, Castro won the first one, and Bogaerts won the second one.
Bogaerts has a point right now. He didn't like that pitch, and it looked in our strike zone box like it was off the plate.
We're going to get a look at it right here. Clearly off the plate, ball or two.
Boy, he's at a break. Start the at-bat 0-1 against Bogaerts. And now strike two.
Well, I remember the first matchup of the year. Castro got him 0-2 and locked him up on a fastball around the inside part of the plate for a strikeout, and got the same sequence the next day. 0-2 count, came back with another fastball in, and Bogaerts was ready for it, and he hit it down the line for a base hit that scored 2. Now here he is 0-2 again.
And it's a breaking ball, grounded under the glove of Ruiz, base hit left field. Little too juicy of a slider for Xander Bogaerts. He wins this rubber matchup against Castro, and the Red Sox tack on an insurance run in the ninth.
Yeah, no doubt. This is not where Miguel Castro wanted this ball. You got an 0-2 count. You've worked so hard to get there. You could see Pedro Severino wanted this ball off the outside corner or right on the edge. And as a pitcher, it boils down to command. You got to know in that situation, 0-2, I either put this breaking ball on the corner, but if I miss, I have to miss off the plate, not on the plate.
That is the first earned run charged to Tanner Scott in 2020. Now Mitch Moreland, who takes aim and swings through strike one. So Bogaerts picks up a 3-hit game. He came in 6 for 36 in the Red Sox last 10. He is 3 for 5 tonight. Mitch Moreland has reached base his last 2 times, single and a walk. Strike 2, good changeup.
Yeah, so you get the slider going into him, down and in for strike 1, then you get the changeup going the opposite way. See the Orioles swung over in the shift.
Moreland doesn't hit too many on the ground if you're thinking about a double play, but if he does, he's slow.
Yeah, and J.D. Martinez out at second base doesn't run extremely well either. So Velasquez is out there trying to keep him close to the bag in case there is a base hit to the outfield. You give your outfielders an opportunity to try to throw him out at home plate.
1-2, Castro to Moreland. That's driven to right center field and well hit. Cedric Mullins will not have a play. It's a 3-run home run for Moreland, and the Red Sox have broken it open in the 9th. Mitch Moreland cranks his 7th home run in 17 games, and the Red Sox have 4 in the 9th.
Well, Mitch Moreland's a guy right now you just cannot make a mistake to. Miguel Castro made a mistake to Bogaerts on an 0-2 count, left a slider right out over the plate, and watch this pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and it's sitting pretty much center cut, and it just catches too much of the plate in a plus pitcher's count.
You know, I'm thinking about what you said earlier with the 3 straight changeups that I can't remember one of the Orioles pitches. I think it was Tate threw. And for Castro there was changeup to Moreland, changeup, and then Statcast had that last one as a sinker, but it was only about 2 miles per hour faster. Pretty similar velocity and caught too much of the plate. Maybe
what was the velocity on it?
93.
Yeah, that I'm guessing that's his changeup. I'm thinking Statcast missed that one because that's kind of where the changeup's been, 91 to 93. But regardless, in a 1 ball 2 strike count, no matter what pitch you're throwing, you can't afford to leave a ball in the middle part of the plate. You can throw it middle if you want to, but it better be down. In other words, it better be bouncing or down by the ankles.
Vasquez could not hold up. That's the slider that Castro wanted to throw Bogaerts on 0-2.
Amazing. You execute pitches and you get these, you get outs. I think he did. Good call.
Brandon Workman is sat down, by the way, in the Red Sox bullpen with a little bit of a luxury now. Phillips Valdez begins to throw, so the Red Sox, for the time being, can save their closer after he pitched yesterday. Kevin Pillar in the air to right. Santander barely has to move. Red Sox score 4 in the top of the 9th. Mitch Moreland with a big blow. For O's Extra, presented by WB Mason. Who but WB Mason for personal protective equipment and more. Rob Long, Mike Bordick will take you through whatever the result of this one is. It was 3-1 Red Sox lead going to the 9th. It is now 7-1 after a Xander Bogaerts RBI single and a Mitch Moreland 3-run homer.
Yeah, so Brandon Workman sits down. Phillips Valdez is in now. He's worked in 9 games, a very good ERA of 1.26, 14 in the third, 15 hits, 13 punch outs, 4 walks. Opponents hitting .278 off the right-hander Phillips Valdez.
Now that is a string bean. Miguel Castro's skinny.
Yeah.
He's 6'7", Castro is, and listed at 205. Valdez is listed at 6'2", 160.
Yeah, and that's sopping wet. You know it is, and he can only pitch on days like when it's really calm out. Like it is tonight.
Now the winds have to be
just right. Blowing off. That's right.
Well, the winds have been right for Valdez this year. It's been a nice story. Non-roster player who's been one of the few effective Red Sox relievers, and he's got himself a cushion to work with, starting with Pedro Severino in the home 9th. Orioles need a miracle, or else they will lose their 5th in a row.
It has been a roller coaster ride season for the Orioles. 1-6 in a row. Jeopardy of losing 5 in a row now. Been involved in 6 sweeps. They've swept 3 times. They've been swept 3 times.
They've been the sweeper and the sweepee. Rare hitless game for Severino at the moment. 1 strikeout, 2 groundouts. Ryan Brazier in innings struck out 2. 2 of the runs in the 9th charged to Tanner Scott. 2 charged to Miguel Castro. Scott's first earned runs allowed this season. Well, the Orioles bullpen played with a little bit of fire tonight. Dylan Tate stranded 2 when he came in for Asher Wojo in the 4th. Scott stranded 2 and he came in for Travis Lakins in the 8th. Castro could not strand the 2 in the 9th. Strike 2 Valdez against Severino. Couple of former Syracuse Chiefs in the minor leagues. The former AAA affiliate of the Nationals, who are now the Syracuse Mets. Nationals are now in Fresno, which makes a whole bundle of sense. And Severino just gets a piece of the slider. Those 2 were briefly battery mates for the 2017 Chiefs. Game 2 tomorrow night, 7:30. John Means will start for the Orioles, and we're hoping that we'll see a sharper John Means after he was knocked out in the 1st inning last time around.
Yeah, a lot going on there, right? Dad passing
Very
away
hard
and spending some
season.
time away, and you know, from a mental standpoint, you know he was a basket case, and so I think you will see a different John Means. The difficult thing for him is, you know, it's been about rhythm.
Severino down looking on a fastball, strike 3, 1 out in the 9th.
Was this called or a check swing?
I think it was called.
Okay. Pedro Severino didn't think it was a strike. Let's see. Oh, it runs back good. Yeah, it caught the plate. That's some good late action. Watch this ball off the plate, and it comes back right the last few feet and catches the outside corner in the upper quadrant of the strike zone. Yeah, Means, you know, he's got that late start out of summer camp. Arm got a little bit sore. Made a couple of starts. First start wasn't great. Second start was really good, and then he has to spend some time on the bereavement list, and so rhythm has been difficult for him. Kind of getting in a groove, if you will.
Amazing for the Orioles that even if they drop this game and fall to 12-13, they'll be where they are without basically any contribution from John Means. Nothing from Trey Mancini, who's out for the season. Nothing from Jonathan VR, who they traded. Probably the 3 most valuable Orioles last year. Ruiz out to left, and the Orioles are down to their final out. And with that, we're going to see a major league debut. Ramon Urias, 26-year-old infielder from Mexico, will pinch hit. His major league debut comes in the 9th inning of this 7-1 game. Urias, longtime Mexican League player, had a pretty good minor league season last year with the Cardinals. Orioles claimed him off of waivers in February, and they recalled him 2 days ago with Jose Iglesias on the injured list. And Urias looks at a slider on his first big league pitch. Strike 1. Special moment, even in a 7-1 game.
Yes.
Even with nobody in front of him.
What do you think that heart rate is about right now?
Oh my gosh.
You could almost hear it beat from here.
That heart rate looks like the Orioles season graphically. Sweep, swept, sweep, swept. 263 with a 369 on base in AAA last year. 24 doubles, 9 home runs. Can play basically everywhere in the field. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball, strike 2. You can see defensively him being a Velasquez type of player. Has played all 4 infield positions and the outfield in his minor league career. A little bit of pop though. 20 home runs in 2017 in the Mexican League.
And there's no shift on. How about that? Because there's no big league at bats to go off. Everybody's playing straight up. You don't see that very often anymore.
Maybe he'll pull a ball here and then he'll be shifted forever. Two. And a good take, 3-2. Signed by the Rangers as an international free agent December 6th, 2010. That's nearly 10 years ago. He was in the Rangers minor leagues for a little while, the Mexican League for 5 seasons, last couple of years with the Cardinals. Tonight, he gets to live out a dream. And Urias takes a called strike 3, and the Red Sox win it 7-1.
Well, once again, Nathan Eovaldi set the tone early like he did opening day when he worked 6 innings and gave up 1 run. He worked 7 tonight against the Orioles, only gives up 1 run, punches out 6. Ryan Brazier was good. The Orioles really couldn't get a whole lot going offensively at all. You get the solo home run back in the 7th inning by Valleca, but other than that, the Red Sox were just too much tonight. And I think a lot of it was because Nathan Eovaldi really set the tone.
He's pitched twice against the Orioles this season. He's been excellent both times. 13 innings, 2 runs, and the Sox win the first in this 4-game series. Orioles have dropped 5 in a row. They're 12-13. Red Sox are 8-18. Good thing about baseball, you wake up, you try to get them again tomorrow. The Orioles will do that at 7:30. John Means against a Red Sox starter to be determined. Coverage begins here on MASN at 7 with O's Extra, presented by PNC Bank. For Brett Hollander, Ben McDonald, and our entire outstanding crew, this is Kevin Brown saying so long from Camden Yards, where the Orioles fall 7-1 to the Red Sox. Pat Valleca's home run, the lone offensive highlight, and the O's will try and get a couple more across tomorrow. Mike Bordick, Rob Long, O's Extra, coming up next.